All right. I don't know what's going on with that. We might be live. Don't worry, streamer buddy, I'm here. Thanks, Drogdar. I'm gonna wait for my own voice to show up so I can hear a sound check quick. All right. I don't know. All right, I can hear me. We're going fine. The stream wasn't supposed to start because I was troubleshooting some stuff. And it just like started while I was still mid troubleshooting, so I don't know why that was doing that. Comparison because one of the streams has an invalid configuration. What? What? Why do you have multiple streams running? Because you shouldn't have multiple streams running. It was Destiny? Yeah. OBS and YouTube are still just having a goddamn conniption, and it's really pissing me off. Because if you didn't catch part one, I was struggling with this with the first stream of the day. I ended up 15 minutes late because I was having YouTube and OBS fight each other, and I'm just like, I don't give a single shit about your little pissing contest, YouTube and OBS. I just need you to run a stream. Is that okay? And the reason I'm so frustrated is like I have to keep troubleshooting this and tinkering with settings like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And it's like, all right, I get the settings that work. These settings work. I stream 3 or 4 times and I haven't changed any settings. And all of a sudden OBS is like, yeah, it's not going to work anymore. And I'm like, why isn't it working anymore? And they're like, I don't know. YouTube doesn't like it. And I go to YouTube and I'm like, why don't you like it? And they're like, I don't know. Try changing what server you're going to. All right, change server. YouTube's backup server. All right, it works now. I'm like, okay, so it's a YouTube problem. And then I get this problem again a week after, and I change servers, and changing servers doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, what's the problem now? And I read online, and it's like, yeah, downgrade your OBS settings. And I'm like, okay, I downgrade my OBS settings. It works. Cool. 3 or 4 streams go by. Yeah, it's not working again. Why isn't it working? Try upping your settings. You might be trying to send too much data through not enough output. And I'm like, all right, I up my output, which I just brought down to make it work 2 weeks ago. Up my output. All right, stream works now. And I'm like, why don't you figure it out then? Like, I'm just gonna set the settings to whatever you like and we're gonna keep them there. So this morning, I downgraded some of my settings so the stream would run smoothly. And I'm like, all right, the stream's running smoothly. And then I open up OBS for this stream. And it's like, nah, stream's gonna be choppy, brother. And I'm like, what do you mean stream's gonna be choppy, brother? So then I start troubleshooting and I'm trying to figure out this stuff. And then it's like, hey, the stream started, by the way. I'm like, why did you start the stream? And then it's like, hey, we're not getting any video from your end. And I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna get video from my end because I didn't hit play because I'm still troubleshooting. What are you streaming to people? And it's like just a still image of you in the main menu, bro. And I'm like, well, then turn it off. I hate it. I hate it. I tried streaming on Twitch instead. Yeah, my viewer, I have to start all over on Twitch, building a community and stuff. So we just stream on YouTube, brother. Whew! Did you figure out what's wrong with the bitrate? Literally, no. No idea. Okay. Excuse me. Pardon me. That's enough time for people to gather. Glad I could catch this rant. Yeah. I try to make my rage fun for everybody. What do we have today? Well, if you watched part 1, you kind of know what's going on today. We have playoffs, baby. Super sweaty, try-hard land battle content. We did Skaven Slave, Clan Rat, and Storm Vermin tiers this morning. Those are players on our leaderboard. On our Discord, you can play our best of 3 bot at any time. It doesn't have to be part of a tournament. You just go to find matches on our server. You can find best of 1 domination, best of 3 land battles, or conquest, and that fills up a leaderboard. Our current rankings puts you based on your ELO, which when you lose, ELO, and when you win, you gain ELO, but you gain more for beating better people. You lose less for getting beat by better people. So we have our tournament split up by where people are in the rankings. That was at the end of a season. This is a new season, so we only have 58 players on our leaderboard so far, but you're welcome to join them. Get invited to these playoff events. So for our playoffs, we have our Chieftains and our Grey Seers, our highest leaderboard participants. These should be the highest quality, most sweaty games. Right. The games are already done. We have 6 best of 3s to get through, but I did undo them on challenge. So there's no spoilers. I can just use this as a blocker while I dig up the replays. And we are doing replays because these are scheduled as you can. You can see at the top that players had from April 4th to 8th to play this round, April 9th to 12th to play this round. It increases participation because people can be flexible with their scheduling. So these games are already done, but I have not seen them. And I sometimes forget who wins because it doesn't matter. Like, one of the semifinalists doesn't win, so I remember who I gave the prize to, but I don't remember who they fought in the finals. So I've never seen these games before, and they are coming as a surprise to me. Except for in the Storm Vermin bracket, when I played in it, I knew I lost. But, yeah. So let's catch Calamity versus VM Flower. Let me dig that up. Just checking some setting stuff quick. So you probably briefly saw the game. Yeah, you briefly saw the game. But that's all right. We weren't hovering over the correct series, so y'all don't know how long certain series go. And there is Flower versus Calamity. Dude, what is going on with the lizard men right now? Lizard men are everywhere. Are you able to stream at both sites at the same time? That would require double the input, which if I'm already struggling apparently with input or part of the troubleshooting process, adding a second output, so dividing it in half, might just increase my technical issues. Unless it's on YouTube's end, then Twitch might work, but then I have to rebuild an entire community. I don't know. It's definitely a part, Prime. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just in the middle of troubleshooting, so I can't say like, yeah, I'll just stream on Twitch and it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. So for Flower versus Calamity, for our Chieftain playoffs, first semifinal, we have a single light war sled, and then a front line of Kislevites warriors backed up by armored Kossars, Bordanov's brawlers, Streltsy ROR. We have a Tempest caster with Hawks of Mishka and Hailstorm, then 4 Kossovite dervishes, Little Grom, and a Drazina. Interestingly enough, very interesting Kislev build actually. For Lizardmen, I'm suspecting it's more standard stuff. Skink cohorts, Skink skirmishers backing them up, Cold One Spear Riders, Cold One Riders, and a Salon Mage Priest of Shadows. That's interesting. The rest of this is pretty standard except for the Salon Mage Priest of Shadows. But Cold One Cav, after getting their elliptical model change, a Melkoth's Overcast on the light war sleds, that seems wild. I think he's just trying to slow them because they're getting poisoned and the slow. I think he's trying to make it so these Cold One Cav can catch up, but still to Overcast it seems a little much. Anyway, ever since their model changed, so now the Cold One Riders are all elliptical model shapes, similar to the Centaurs. They just have better performance, like as a unit. They get less jank and stuff, so people have been taking a lot of Cold One Cav. As Kossovite dervishes are getting eaten alive by these Cold One Spear Riders. They had to dive out to protect the light war sleds, but didn't go their way. Hawks of Mishka out from Kislev, it appears. No friendly fire damage, so the Kislevites need not worry, and the leadership debuff should get those Skink cohorts running and leaving the Cold One Riders all alone versus halberds and armored Kossars. So that's going to be really good for Kislev. What's not good for Kislev is how badly the Cold One Spear Riders are ripping through Kossovite dervishes wherever they run into them. Look at that. Look at that damage. And this is partially the elliptical model change. Now, they are getting hit with Bordanov's Brawlers, so Flower is doing a good job punishing Calamity's engagements. But the elliptical model count means instead of a circle, just really quick, because I have had people ask me about this on videos and I have to describe it in text. If you think about a circle, that's more of an ellipse, honestly. So I have to draw better and be more careful with this example. So if you think of an ellipse and you think of a circle, right? If you have 3 ellipses, they can all fit right next to each other, very close together, and all hit the same target. If you have circles, pack together less well, and then if there's a target, maybe only 2 of the circles can hit it at the same time. So Cold Ones, after getting the elliptical model buff, and Centaurs and Seekers all having those elliptical models, Centaurs, Seekers, Cold Ones, Cold One Knights, those are all units that are at the top of the meta, and it's because of that elliptical change. They're better at crowding in and getting more contact with the enemy and then getting more damage out, whereas their opponents are getting bumped by their own allies. So then only like 1 or 2 dervishes can make contact with the Cold One Spear Rider model, but the Cold One Spear Riders can make 3 or 4 make contact with the dervishes. Nice Pit of Shades in onto the Bordanov's Brawlers. Sick of their nonsense. The Salon just uno reverses their damage onto the Cold One Spear Riders, instantly deleting them with an overcasted Pit of Shades, and as soon as their Buyer Blood wears off, they're going to rout. Taking that much damage that quickly is going to be too much of a leadership bomb. They can't rally from that. Little Grom's firing sideways in the Cold Wind Spear Riders as the frontline fight. Kislev is doing very well. Skinks don't get through the Kislevite Warriors. Not very quickly anyway. So, it is the flanks the Lizardmen need to win, and the flanks they are doing very well. Getting rid of the Dervishes, Bodnov's Brawl is just shattered, so they're gone. Little Grom sitting on a bed of Halberds is pretty good. The Lizardmen are going to have a tough time with that until another Pit of Shades is ready or something. It looks like these Cold Wind Spear Riders might just be opting in for it. No, they're going for the Druzina. Ooh, and that Druzina actually not running away is going to be pretty bad. Let's see if he can weave out. Yes, he weaved out, and he's going back. Flower is playing very heavily towards this little band of Kislevite warriors. Trying to make them the focus, which is appropriate. We can see the Cold Wind Spear Riders don't enjoy that engagement at all, and they're going to back off. More Cold Wind Riders are coming over. Now, these Kislevite warriors are unbraced, meaning they will take some charge damage. And a 3v1 or a 4v1 is going to be too much for one Kislevite warrior to overcome. I mean, they're good, but come on now. Slon's here as well. Nothing causes terror, so there's no chance of terror out in Kislevite Warrior before they get their Buy Our Blood passive. You can see the Lizardmen are just backing off. Even throwing a Melkoth's onto that Kislevite Warrior. They know it's the last thing standing between Kislev and defeat is this single Kislevite Warrior surrounding their important pieces, because everything else is toast. We have two Kislevite Warriors with their Buy Our Blood passive, another one that's about to get theirs, but they're isolated. They're going to get killed off pretty quickly. Little Grom and the Druzina have very limited time. Oh, wow. That is unfortunate for Kislev. Buy Our Blood getting procced on this Kislevite Warrior that was under no threat at all is horrible. So now it's just a normal Halberd unit that can get routed at the drop of a hat. Rip in peace, brother. Rip in peace. Other Kislevite Warrior is about to start routing. Buy Our Blood wears off. And that Unbreakable Halberd is unbreakable no more, retreating away. I think that's a Hawks of Mishka trying to dissuade the Cold Wind Riders. No, it's a Bound Banishment from the Slon. Oh, okay, so they were doomed either way. Melkoth's and a Banishment. Yeah, that Slon is sick of these Kislevite Warriors protecting things. So now, without the Halberd support, the Druzina is under attack by Cold Wind Riders. He's getting torn to pieces. A Hawks of Mishka will try and save him. Ooh, a Hailstorm. Okay, that'll be a little better. I was going to say the Hawks won't do that much damage since their model count is low. Really nice stuff there. Cold Wind Riders get a Cold-Blooded to keep them in the fight. 26 leadership, even though they're at 200 HP. Feels like gaming. And then all the Lizardmen just cluster up on this little force. Why are some model circles and some elliptical? Elliptical is very new, so CA has been updating models to be that way. They used to all be circles. Everything was a circle, and then ellipses got released. Nice Hailstorm, but army loss is already hit. The Lizardmen are just waiting for Buy Our Blood to wear off. And Calamity takes game 1 over Flower. Flower had a very creative build. Druzina was there to give more ammunition to Little Grom, but I don't know. I think there's a reason we keep seeing the Frostworm mounted caster, because having to take a hero caster and a different lord is very expensive, and then your army gets a little thin. Like, they couldn't have good cavalry. They had to like pinch pennies to get Kosovo dervishes, and those just got rolled by Cold Wind Riders. For Calamity, the Shadows caster did very good work. I do like when people take other Slons than just the healing Slon, because you have a lot of access to different kind of lores of magic, and Slons are amazing casters, so diversifying your portfolio is quite nice. Then the 8 Cold Wind Riders did well. GG's. Good start to the stream. Calamity takes game 1 on the Lizards. The Lizards. Game 2, Tomb Kings and Demons of Chaos. If you want this particular matchup to go to game 3, you are rooting for the Demons of Chaos of Flower with a Soul Grinder, Seekers, and a Tzeentch caster that I'm guessing has Blue Fire. Healing meta never got nerfed. Healing took a couple nerfs in a row in like the summer or fall. And since then, we've been in a damage meta. Healing is still fine, but we're definitely in the damage meta. Flock of Doom is everywhere. Flock of Doom, Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance, Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, Spirit Leech. Those are the big winners of the day right now. Fate of Buna, it's very strong. Regrowth and Earthblood, that's like second tier. It's still fine. It's still very strong. You're not trolling at all if you take healing. But like, yeah, we're definitely in the damage meta. Ooh, Exalted Order Change of Metal. Yes, yes, interesting build detected. So for Flower Game 2, we have Final Transmutation, Plague of Rust caster, a couple Nurglings for a bit of a front line, but mostly Pink Horrors, Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, and then some Seekers. Interesting. I guess he wants the Plague of Rust to make things susceptible to Pink Horror Fire. On the other side, for the Tomb Kings of Calamity, trying to close it out 2-0. We do have, oh, we have the Shrieking Skyrays too, sorry. 4 Skeleton Horse Archers, then a bunch of Sepulchral Stalkers, 3 of them, Skeleton Horsemen for some base and blocking, ooh, 4 Sepulchral Stalkers. We do have Cetra on his kitty cat with Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance. What makes the unit a good caster if they all have the same lore? Usually their price point and their Winds of Magic regeneration, like the Exalted Lord Change has Spell Mastery and Power Recharge on Greater Arcane Conduit, while like Festus the Leech Lord doesn't have anything, so he takes forever to charge up Winds of Magic, and it's pretty abysmal to try and get spells off his Festus. Also just being cheap. Like a High Elf hero caster is like, I think they're 450 gold with like 1 or 2 spells on foot. So, yeah. The combination of those 2 things. Soul Grinder of Tzeentch is trying to kite with Cetra a bit, then fall back. The Demons of Chaos overall trying to fall back, and here we go. Plague of Rust Overcast onto Cetra, down to 26 armor as he charges straight into these pink and blue horrors, takes a ton of damage. And as he gets that charge off, it's not like he's going to be any safer. I mean, he still has a pink horror trying to shoot him right there, and a Seeker is going to run up and at least dissuade him from sticking around. Exalted Lord of Change follows along. No blue fire to follow that up, but Cetra loses a third of his HP with that little trap, so nice job by Tzeentch. Shrieking Skyrays just flying around, waiting to get more of their Lampreys bites off, or waiting for a big engagement that they can take part in. Final Transmutation Overcast while the Plague of Rust is still active. Doesn't help the Final Transmutation, I just meant that they're going all in on sniping Cetra, and I didn't even know they had that much Winds of Magic this early into the game. Soul Grinder takes him to less than half HP with a big volley to his face. And now the Plague of Rust wears off, but man, Cetra got lit up during that. Exalted Lord of Change gets a good rear charge onto Cetra. Only 38 melee defense for the kitty cat. He's mostly tanky by like his mobility and his charge animations, not really his stats. So the Exalted Lord Change is currently slapping him around. And Cetra is very close to dead. The Shrieking Skyrays might even commit to this just to make sure Cetra starts crumbling and dying. Sporkle Stalkers have gotten in range, but there's a big pile up, and this is a problem for Calamity. Some of his units are in his other units' way. We can see these Sporkle Stalkers are trying to fire, but they just can't figure out how to do it because all the Skeleton Horse Archers between them and Cetra. Cetra starts to crumble, pops his Blessed Blade to hold things down, and he's like, please, someone shoot! I have held them in place for so long, but the Sporkle Stalkers are blocking each other! No, it's a disaster for the Tomb Kings! They don't get nearly as much of a punish as they wanted, and they will lose Cetra the Imperishable, more like Cetra the Very Much Perishable. Keep him in the fridge, brother. Seekers catch Sporkle Stalkers out in the middle of nowhere, so that is a rare win here for, not a rare win for the Demons of Chaos. The Demons of Chaos are winning everywhere right now. I was thinking that for some reason Cetra was the Demon Lord and he died, and then over here the Demons got a good trade, but no. Just kind of disaster after disaster for the Tomb Kings in this specific matchup here. Sporkle Stalkers and Skeleton Horsemen very wounded on this side. Soul Grinder's trying to finish Cetra, who did briefly rally leadership-wise, but he's about to start crumbling again. He takes a little bit more damage, there we go. He was getting a charge bonus that helps his leadership a little bit. Soul Grinder tries to finish him. Pink Horrors kills some Skeleton Horsemen, and they get back to firing. 1 natural HP on Cetra, and then he finally dies. The Tomb Kings have lost their lord. They are the least susceptible of the undead to just losing because you lost your lord. Like the Vampire Counts and Vampire Coast almost can't function without their lord alive. Tomb Kings are a little more independent than that, but not much. All undead factions really need their lords alive. So no more spell casting for the Tomb Kings, but also their diminished leadership means it's even easier to get them to start crumbling than before. Demons still kiting around, still have both Nurglings technically alive, though one is starting to take some serious damage due to demonic instability crumbling. Seekers and the Exalted Lord of Change falling back with the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch as well. 11 ammunition left on him, and he can do some decent shots on mostly Sepulchral Stalkers. Doesn't want to be shooting at Cab or Infantry with those, so at least the monstrous Cab is more worth it. Seekers and the Shrieking Skyrays catch out some Sepulchral Stalkers as other Sepulchral Stalkers move up to try and get some damage out on something. I wouldn't hate for them to use their volleys right now. These ones had to shuffle forward, and you can see now they're getting kited out. I would just shoot the Pink Horrors while you can. After these guys leave, sure, you got in a position, you can shoot, great. Now just shoot the Pink Horrors. Like, you got to get some damage out, and you're clearly getting kited. Another Final Transmutation down, just onto a blob of Skirmish Cav, but it is attached to the Sepulchral Stalkers. Flower's been playing this very well so far. Flower's playing the Demons of Chaos, down 0-1 in the series, so he does need this win to get to Game 3, and it looks like we're going to Game 3 based on the balance of power right now. He's been playing very well. It's a good kite build. Kite's never my favorite playstyle, but he is playing it very well. Juicy Goose, like the stream. Thank you very much for bringing that up. I need to do that more often. Say like the stream, subscribe, and all that stuff. I hate mentioning it, and I forget because I get caught up in the moment. Soul Grinder's still kiting it out. Bounce Power's just getting increasingly worse for the Tomb Kings. As, you know, every time we look, a Sepulchral Stalker is getting sniped somewhere. Now we're down to one Sepulchral Stalker. That one. This one's pretty much dead. I've kind of factored it out of my brain already. Can one Sepulchral Stalker and 4 light skirmish cav kill everything left for the Demons of Chaos? I would vote probably not. In comes a Ushapti summon in front of these pink horrors. That is a good maneuver to try and cut them off. It takes a very long time to summon the Ushapti, so putting them well ahead of your opponent is smart. Now they'll show up, and then they'll sprint down those pink horrors and get what damage out they can. The Exalted Lord of Change is not backing off at all. He is just going for the only Sepulchral Stalker left, having a pink horror and Soul Grinder shoot out with it right in front of the white line. But everything here is either demonic or undead, so they don't give a single shit about the white line. They're not going anywhere. Bounce Power shifting very negatively for the Tomb Kings. And this is with a full health Ushapti summon on the battlefield. We have lost our last Seeker. No, there's still a Seeker over there. He's just very close to dead. Still have a Nurgling fighting in the background. It'll die someday. Soul Grinder's almost out of ammunition. We do have a couple pink horrors, but I mean, a full health Exalted Lord of Change with the balance of power being that bad. And everything around here is like skeleton horse archers that are running out of ammo. There goes army losses without the Sepulchral Stalkers. GG. Grieven, what? Game 2 goes to Flower, bringing us back to 1-1. Anchors did all right. Seekers did their jobs. Soul Grinder did fine. Aside for Calamity. Oh, there was a Sword of Corn I missed. I just caught it on the stream replay on my other screen. That's pretty funny. Anyway, for Calamity, Cetra got insta-nuked. That was pretty bad. Skeleton Horse Archers did fine. Sepulchral Stalkers did mix, but not great. Lamau, that Sword of Corn, yeah. I missed that. Welcome to the Infinite Void. Is that Necromancer? Hey, Necromancer. It's going good, dude. It's going good. 1-1 for Calamity and Flower. On to game 3. Flower betting it all. Oh, okay. I see why this is happening now. Yeah. Khorne versus High Elves. And the High Elves going with full skirmish, full cavalry. I mean, you have to. Like, I don't really like Kite. It's not my preferred game mode, but you have to. Against Khorne, they're so good at killing your infantry, and then they get army passive off killing your infantry. A lot of people just stop taking infantry versus Khorne. And it sucks. It does suck. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, but yeah. Khorne needs some nerfs so they don't like kill infantry instantly, and then they need a lot of buffs on their counter Kite. Like, Flesh Hounds need some buffs. Chaos Knights, for them, not everyone else, but Chaos Knights need buffs, Blood Crushers need buffs, Skull Crushers need buffs. Anything they have that counters Kite needs to be buffed, and then just get rid of some of their infantry killing potential. So, for the Khorne build, before it disappears before your very eyes, we do have Marauders of Khorne as a bit of a front line. Hellforge Bellower, Skull Cannon, ROR after the nerf. Double Bloodthirster and Valkia to try and counter Sky Cheese, and then a bunch of Chaos Warhounds of Khorne to run down Archers or Shadow Warriors or something like that. On the other side, for the High Elves, we have an Archmage of Life with Dwellers Below and Earthblood, a Star Dragon, and the Omen of Assyrian Arcane Phoenix. Then we have the Fireborn, and then a bunch of Illyrian Reavers. Some are Archer variants, some are not. Chaos Furies dive in. I didn't even notice them in the Vanguard. It looks like nobody did, but this is the problem with the Chaos Furies, is they are going to die pretty much instantaneously and not get a lot of damage out. Furies in general, I don't think they're that strong. I know they're very popular in the meta, but that's because usually the factions they're on need them, so they have to take them, but Chaos Furies could use to be a little bit cheaper, so Khorne could take more of them to counter Kite like this. Because they're so squishy. They're like 650 gold, and they're very squishy. Which, I think they're appropriate. I think their in-game performance is appropriate. I think their price point is what's out of whack for me. I don't think they should be 650 gold. I think it should be like 500, 450, something in there. So they land again. Dogs are going to route too. Chaos Fury is just getting deleted out, and the Hellforged Bellows tries to fire in. It doesn't do that much damage versus cavalry, so there go the Chaos Furies. The dogs route, and they're right next to the white lines. They might just run straight off while the High Elf Cavalry tries to run away. One Illyrian Reaver is going to be sacrificed. It just throws itself at the Bloodthirsters and the dogs to get rid of all these guys, but yeah, already Khorne is down about 1,300 gold, and if this dog goes off the map, then that's going to be more like 1,700-ish. One Illyrian Reaver does tear out away from the Bloodthirsters. The rest of the High Elf Kite army gets away, and they just keep moving on. Dogs got lucky. They routed inwards, so they will rally to safety. They'll be fine. I think the problem is that even the cheapest Khorne infantry can deal with most of everyone else's. It's just not worth it to invest in infantry, and Khorne only has to pay 2k to win. No, their infantry and their monsters and everything Khorne has is amazing at killing infantry. They are right now the classic of, my faction is too good at one thing and too terrible at everything else. So then it's like, okay, I'm just not going to do the thing you're good at, and I'm going to do the thing you're very bad at. Terror out in for the Marauders as the Fireborn just run them down. So far, this Khorne army is getting picked apart. Hellforged Bellows still trying to counter fire, but with their reduced range, and they didn't get reduced damage, but they were never good at shooting cavalry. They're just not doing too much against this skirmish cav. Bloodthirsters try and land on the Fireborn, but they're going to keep kiting away. And Khorne continues to ride the struggle bus. For mobile units, they're down to 3 full health dogs, and then the Bloodthirsters and Valkia. They've already lost both their Furies, and their 4th dog is essentially dead. Essentially. Bloodthirster tries to land on the Fireborn. Fireborn take a massive charge with these Chaos Warhounds, instantly routing them and making it not much of a problem, as these Illyrian Reaver Archers are also going to jump on the Chaos Warhounds of Khorne, routing them as well. Dogs are just too low leadership to really counter skirmish cavalry like that. Wrath attacks coming in to try and damage the Bloodthirsters. Get some good poke on them. They don't have Gore Shell or any Gore Feast or whatever the hell that thing is that lets Exalted, not the Exalted Bloodthirsters. Only some of Khorne's units can heal, and it's with that, when I'm in melee, I get health thing. Fireborn turning around to go fight the Bloodthirsters. We can see Khorne's infantry have just been left in the dust, so they are taking this fight without any infantry support. The final dog opts in, and the final dog opts out. It immediately terror routes towards the white line, and it will probably die. All 3 single entities, the Arcane Phoenix and both Dragons, teaming up on this one Bloodthirster to try and get it to Demonic Instability crumble, while the Fireborn surround the other one. And this is looking like a really brutal game. But it is why you haven't been seeing as much Khorne in competitive tournaments recently, is like, I don't want to be a broken record, but this is how you fight Khorne. Like, if you are taking a straight fight with porn, yes. If you're taking a straight fight with porn, you're doing something wrong. But anyway, if you're taking a straight fight with Khorne, you are actually trolling. Like, don't do that. If you want to win. If you want to have fun, do whatever you want. I don't care. But if you want to win, there's no reason to fight Khorne straight up. You're going to lose. Or if you win, you massively outplayed your opponent, but you weren't playing, like, super sweaty to win. This is how you play to win against Khorne. This kite is beautiful. As a caster, and as a dumb caveman, no-brain player, I don't love watching it. But, like, I acknowledge this is very well executed so far from Flower. He's doing great. His build is great. Everything about it is going really well. I just want more Unga Bunga. I want more Smash. Freudian slip. Yeah. I like that the last thing I said before I read that comment about my slip earlier was want more Smash. It's always a happy day to see Khorne losing. We get a Dwellers Below on top of 2 Marauders. One's going to be kind of effective, but he's mostly out of it. So 2 Marauders getting hit with a bit of that Dwellers Below. They'll dodge a lot of it, but the High Elves just know that they've got this game well in hand. They don't want to waste time healing and stuff. They're trying to just trigger army losses nice and fast. If Cowardly Elves Elite Infantry was actually affordable, they could. My issue isn't that Khorne has top tier infantry, it's that the DLC creep and nobody else is on that level where they should be. Yeah, there's a difference. It's kind of the B tier argument. We know this is over, so I'm talking to chat right now. Sorry. It's the B tier argument. You want your favorite faction to be B tier, not S or A, because if it's an S or A, people might ban it with their picks and bans. But if your favorite faction is just above average, or average or above average, then they're still strong and you can still play them, but no one will think to ban them against you. Khorne kind of has that problem right now, but it's a problem And I'm not saying this would be better. It would be better for Khorne, but not for the community. But it would be better for Khorne if they were S tier at everything. So no matter what you did to fight them, they could fight back. The problem with Khorne's current design, as I was saying during that game, is they are S plus tier at melee frontline fighting. They are B tier at monster fighting. Like 1v1, they have some okay monsters, but they're pretty expensive, so eh. And then they are D tier everything else. Terrible artillery after the skull cannons got nerfed, which was fine. Fuck those things. They're terrible at skirmish. They only have one unit for it. It's the Marauder Horsemen, which isn't very good. They don't have good cavalry. Skull Crushers, Blood Crushers, and Chaos Knights of Khorne are okay at best and bad at worst, depending on who you're talking to. So they have no mobility game. Like, they just can't counter you in mobility. So just don't take a front line. Just kite them. So very well executed by Flower. I don't have a lot to say negative about Calamity's build. It's not like, oh man, he really screwed up here and there. It was just like, yeah, I don't know what you can do. It's the scourge of playing Khorne in 2025, is sometimes you just don't get to play the game. So he did the best he could with a pretty creative build, but couldn't overcome that hurdle of just build diff. GG's, Calamity. GG's. Flower will advance to our finals. Next up, we have Incarz and Rusto. Incarz and Rusto. There it is. Oh my gosh, it's more Tomb Kings! Tomb Kings! Yeah, woo! Calm down, it's versus Grand Cathay. It's a different matchup. Bloodthirsters are B tier? No, but I was thinking like the Bloodbird Behemoth Gorgon is actually pretty good. I personally stand the Soul Grinder a little bit. The Soul Grinder of Khorne is low-key solid after its buffs. Exalted Bloodthirster is strong, Karanak strong, Scarbrand strong, Valkia is strong, yeah. So they have some strong single entities. But I said B for their single entities, not like crazy OP, you know. But they can do some work. Slaughter Brute's terrible. Okay. I was reading chat for a second. So, we're on to game one of Rusto versus Incarz. And who's who here? Hold on, I was looking at chat. One second. Everybody shush now. Cathay's just shooting at the Tomb Kings. You're not missing anything. Incarz is the Tomb Kings. Got it. So for Incarz and the Tomb Kings, Skeleton Horsemen, Nakar Horsemen, Skeleton Horse Archers, front line of Spearmen, and then we have Eyes of the Desert Sepulchral Stalkers backing up Chosen of the Gods, regular Shop Great Bow, and 2 Screaming Skull Catapults with Arkin! Yes! More validation! It's not just one person that also thinks Arkin is still good. All the Cetra enjoyers can kiss my ass because someone else is still taking Arkin in 2025. It's not just me. Arkin is still good. Cetra's amazing. No one's saying Cetra sucks, but my boy Arkin's still very solid. Love to see it. Against him, Grand Cathay of Rusto, 3 Grand Cannons currently making a mockery of the Tomb King's ranged units as one of the Ushopta Great Bows is already dead. Kind of surprised they didn't target the Chosen of the Gods right away, but it is what it is. Then we have 3 Iron Hail Gunners, a front line of Jade Warriors, Jade Warrior Halberds, Peasant Long Spears. We have the Onyx Crowman, ROR, the Empress Crowman. The Zhengdu War Drum, a tech piece I first saw from Pigman / War God, however you want to call him. But I know other people have also been adopting it. I know Olaf uses it a lot. So I don't know who originated it, but I first saw it with Pigman. So I'll give him the credit. And then we have a Yin caster with Missile Mirror, Cloak of Jet, and Storm of Shadows. Interesting. Cannons absolutely light up the Chosen of the Gods. And now all of the Ushopta Great Bows are dead. Grand Cathay is off to a great start for this game, but Arkin has jumped in, immediately uses his Skeleton Summon on the Iron Hail Gunners to stop them from lighting him up at point blank range. You can see they're trying to throw guard mode on and shoot, but the Skeletons are just physically in their way. They can't see. And then Arkin is on a cannon, already trying to disrupt it. Spirit Leech onto that caster in the sky. Now some Nakar Horsemen do end up in a melee fight with spears. They're going to lose that quite badly. It looks like we have some units that are being forgotten, so a lot to micro here for Incarz in this wide Tomb Kings build that was trying to wrap around the enemy front line, and a couple units are getting forgotten here and there. Iron Hail Gunner still trying to line up against something done, and Arkin immediately piles out into them. He's doing a really good job of disrupting things with Arkin. Good job, Incarz. Good job, buddy. Killing it. Incarz is one of our beloved admins. I wish him the best. As those triple cannons are messing up the Eyes of the Desert. Ooh, and a Missile Mirror probably screwed them up too. Dang. I hate to see it. for the poor sepulchral stalkers. Though I do like seeing cannons do well. Artillery is my favorite unit type in the entire game, and a lot of artillery is struggling, but they do well against monstrous things, especially monstrous things that want to stay at a distance. Scream Skull Catapult's still trying to provide that constant fire, though, and the leadership of Grand Cathay is starting to falter. They do have harmony buffs, and they do have this thing, the Zhengdu War Drum, making them immune to psychology. So they're very hard to rout. The Scream Skull Catapult's debuff of under fire makes it a little easier. Ushapti summon in the middle of the box, and the box is starting to break. Some of those melee infantry are being pulled to other areas where they are needed, and that's allowing some of these Nekar horsemen to jump in behind. As we say every single time, say it with me, longtime viewers, when you're playing a ranged faction, you get ahead on the balance of power early. But it's about what class? It's about staying ahead on the balance of power and holding on for victory. And now this is the part of the game where it's you see whether or not you got far enough ahead when you had the range advantage, because now it's all gone. Balance power is creeping back towards the middle. Spirit Leech putting the Dragon-Blooded Shugenin Lord of Yin on a timer. She has no healing. She has no way of deflecting those spells, so a couple more Spirit Leeches and she is dead no matter what. Grand Cathay's ranged units are gone, taking a lot of their damage with them. It's now on Peasant Long Spears and Jade Warriors to grind through everything that's left. That's a lot of negatives for Grand Cathay. The positives would be this Ushapti is fake, right? It's going to fade away on its own. The Skeleton frontline isn't looking too hot. Definitely not something you can't overcome. The Skeleton Warrior is also fake. We still have Onyx Crowman running around, being a nuisance, taking out these Skeleton Horse Archers, so you might get to rally, you might get a second shot at this. Also, Screaming Skull Catapults, as we're seeing here, Dragon-Blooded Shugenin Lord can just go dive them and take them out. Now, we do have some Sepulchral Stalkers trying to harass her, but it is something. Also, Screaming Skull Catapults do less and less damage the less models you have, so once you get to kind of a tattered late game, they're not as scary, but it is what it is. Sepulchral Stalkers trying to hunt down this lady can be very bad. Overcast Spirit Leech from Arkan from across the map, though the Overcast damage hurt him quite a lot, and he's currently surrounded by Peasant Longspears and Onyx Crowman, so that is a ballsy attempt here from Incarz. Incarz does rally one of his Screaming Skull Catapults, does need to put it back towards this. Oh yeah, and they're playing Conquest. The playoffs were on land battles by default, but if both players agreed to play Conquest, we're like, that's fine. We don't care. So yeah, it's Conquest. It's fine. If that was something that was bothering you or you were curious about it. Arkan is very surrounded right now by Jade Warriors and Onyx Crowman and Peasant Longspears. That is super dangerous. He needs to get out of there if possible. Tomb King's falling further and further behind on the balance of power. So Grand Cathay is starting to rally. Arkan summons some Skeleton Warriors. They immediately get murdered. Oof, they've already lost a quarter of their HP, and Arkan's not that safe either as he still tries to get to safety. Some of the Tomb King's infantry still grinding as best it can. Screaming Skull Catapults firing in, and one of the Screaming Skull Catapults really needs to help Arkan out here, and it is trying to. It's gotten back online. It's firing over here. And Sepulchral Stalkers with the missile mirror in the background. Oh, they're blasting themselves in the face. Now, thankfully, most of their shots are missing somehow. I don't really know how that panned out, but it did. Scream Skull Catapults trying to save Arkan as the Sepulchral Stalkers try and save the Catapults. The Yin Caster's just waiting for that missile mirror, and as soon as it wears off, she is in mortal danger, and Arkan is just not dying, though his Skeleton Summon is fading away, so his protection is also leaving. Who will die first? Is it the Yin Caster or Arkan? Because that could honestly change how this game goes dramatically. As we still have two Scream Skull Catapults to do a lot of damage to the infantry that are left, so if you can take out the Yin Caster, just lower their leadership and then kite back to your Screaming Skull Catapults, you can win this as the Tomb Kings. As something was just cast, Storm of Shadows to slow Arkan down, but the Onyx Crowman fade away just as he got slowed, so they couldn't hit him. And now that Yin Caster is trying to get back to her forces and away from the Sepulchral Stalkers, but stay out of range of Arkan. Look how close he is to Spirit Leeching. That green arrow is right where he needs to be to cast that Spirit Leech, but she's getting away from him. The Storm of Shadows slowing him down, plus, of course, just a flying mount is usually faster than a ground-based mount. Two Screaming Skull Catapults firing. We are all out of Tomb King's infantry besides whatever Arkan can summon, and he does go for the Overcast. The Overcast hurts him as much as it's going to hurt her, so that is actually pretty detrimental at this point in the game, considering how far along we are. He has not been getting lucky with these Overcasts, taking a lot of damage on himself. One more Spirit Leech will take her out of this game, but for now she is going to stay. Arkan is trying to stay close-ish to her, throws down a Staff and Gash to recharge his Skeleton Summon. It only really recharges when he's in melee, and then he gets another Spirit Leech off. Is it Overcast? No, a regular Spirit Leech. The cooldown was nice and quick for him. Good job by Arkan. Really nice using that cooldown modification ability, and she is gone now. Even if she doesn't die, she's too low to come back. Dragon-Blooded Shugenin Lords aren't high elves. They can't keep coming back at like 10 HP and be fine. So she's going off the map. Grand Cathay is on a timer before they lose a lot of leadership, and there's a full health Skeleton Horse Archer in the background. That is actually huge. Having more multi-entity model things to just chase stuff off the map and make sure it doesn't come back is pretty gigantic. Arkin is trying to take a brief fight with some Jade Warriors so that the Sporkle Stalkers can get to safety and just get free shots on them and kite them out. Scream Skull Catapult's trying to defend themselves from the Jade Warriors. Can Arkin truly grind through all these guys? Let's find out. Jim Beauchamp, probably the oldest person in this chat. I am 65 years old. Any Chaos Dwarfs in playoffs? Yes, there was a lot on the last stream, actually. Jade Warriors get hit with a Spirit Leech because Arkin just has Winds of Magic to blow at this point. Since the Lord is off the battlefield, there's no good single entity targets left for the Spirit Leech. You might be like, the Zhengdu War Drum. The Zhengdu War Drum is not a threat at all to the Tomb Kings. Honestly, Spirit Leech in the infantry is just more worthwhile. Scream Skull Catapult's really trying to get rid of these Jade Warriors. The Discouraged is enough, and it does rout them. This is the part where if we had any of our horsemen nearby, they could run those guys off nicely. These guys were starting to crumble, and now they are going to get onto the Peasant Longspears and chase them. Arkin is dangerously low on HP, and another Catapult is in severe trouble. They abandon their mounts and run for it. Run for the hills. Incarz, you're in chat. I try and catch it when I can, but if you're here and watching your own series, shut up. If you want to say things unrelated to the game, that's fine, but I really hate when people pop in and they're like, oh man, I was so disappointed blank and blank happened, and I'm like, shut up. We don't know that happened yet. All right, Arkin's going to spend some time chasing these Jade Warriors to give himself charges of his Tomb Blade. It only recharges while he's in melee. So there he goes, he summons a Tomb Blade down. Sporkle Stalker's trying to hit these Peasant Longspears and keep Arkin safe. And I feel like the Tomb Kings are winning, but it's still risky. That's a summon. The Scream Skull Catapults have had issues staying online. In fact, one of them is now running for its life. And Arkin piles right back into Peasant Longspears. Oh no! Oh no, no, no! The Peasant Longspears are out, but they take 150 HP off Arkin with them, and he is 0 leadership. If he starts crumbling, this is Ogre Kingdoms. As the Skeleton Warriors fight with all the Peasant Longspears, Arkin rallies, he's fine, but he's down to 400 HP, and these Nakar Horsemen start all of a sudden crumbling out of nowhere, but the Scream Skull Catapults saving each other. Once again, one crew dismounts and runs, the other crew stops and fires. Arkin is flirting with crumbling. What are you doing, Arkin? Every time I play against you, you rally. When my Skaven get you with a Flensing Ruin, you're down to like 2 HP, your leadership is 13. Why are you crumbling, you piece of garbage? Why are you doing that? You never crumble when I fight you. What is this? As the Skeleton Horsemen just fade away, Arkin's just killing himself for no reason. How are you crumbling? You never crumble when I fight you, you garbage monster. What are you doing? Arkin, no! Arkin rallies all of a sudden with 11 leadership. With, what? No, 6 leadership with 100 HP, but at 500 HP, he wasn't comfortable. He was so scared when he had 500 HP, but now that he has 100, he's chilling. What is this game? Arkin starts crumbling again. Arkin starts crumbling again. And when he dies, this Scream Skull Catapult might start crumbling too. The Tomb Kings are just slowly offing themselves as Jade Warriors rally in the face of Skeleton Horse Archers with no ammunition as they're forced back. No one has captured the point yet. This Scream Skull Catapult is officially crumbling. This Scream Skull Catapult not crumbling just yet. 5 leadership as it chases Jade Warriors away. But do the Jade Warriors rally in its face? We're not so sure. Sporkle Stalker's running away from Peasant Longspears, trying to kite them out as best they can. Still have 7 ammunition, which is quite a lot. Arkin is so moody. Still, these Screaming Skull Catapults crumbling away on their own is a big problem. The Tomb Kings have routed off a Jade Warrior. A different Jade Warrior has rallied. Sporkle Stalkers, plenty of kiting left in them. I still think the Tomb Kings are going to take it, but man, Arkin made this more stressful than it had to be, and it wasn't the player's fault. Arkin himself just decided to start routing, and that was crazy. Zhengdu War Drum still pursuing that Sporkle Stalker. There goes that catapult, so it's pretty much officially dead. Gone. All right. ×2 speed quick. The Sporkle Stalkers continue to kite it out. Catapult gets back online for one quick volley, and they're probably going to crumble to nothingness. Sporkle Stalkers continue to kite away. Zhengdu War Drum very injured, but unbreakable. Tomb Kings take a decisive lead on the balance of power. Jade Warrior is going to get charged in the distance by Skeleton Horse Archers. They honestly should just route. Yeah, they're routing, so it's fine. The Scream Skull Catapult crew is chasing off the Jade Warrior, and it looks like the Tomb Kings have got it, for sure. There's nothing left here. This Sepulchral Stalker can kill everything else on its own. But dang, that was stressful. Good effort, good hustle by Rusto, but Incarz takes the W here. Aachen, very powerful. This Horseman doing a great job running everything down. And that's GG. For Rusto, Chengdu War Drum and his Lord were more supportive, so they didn't get a lot of damage value, but you don't expect them to. Jade Warriors, Peasant Longspears did fine. Iron Hail Gunners really got shut down. Great job there. They didn't get much done, but the Cannons did fantastically, and so did the Crowmen. Very good game to start off this series, and that was only game 1 between Rusto and Incarz, who will go on to fight Flower. I don't. Well, I might know. But I'm going to pretend I don't know. As we get, ladies and gentlemen, more Tomb Kings! Yeah! Tomb Kings! Oh, yeah! If you love Tomb Kings, if you love Lizardmen, this is apparently the day for you, because there's been a lot of Tomb Kings and Lizardmen. A lot. Incarz goes on to the Vampire Coast. Rusto goes on to the Tomb Kings. And this is one of the more interesting undead matchups. It's actually the most interesting. Between Coast, Tomb Kings, Counts, and Counts Coast. I think Coast Tomb Kings is the most interesting. Shoxy, what if they're really good drums? For Incarz trying to 2-0 sweep and go to the finals, we have a handgun line. And then the front line is pistols and regular deckhands mobs. Animated Hulks in the back line to provide some mass. 2 Carronades, the Shade Wraith Gunners, and Noctilus on his peg leg with Melkoths, Invocation Hack, and a Summon. On the other side, for the Tomb Kings trying to get back in this series, we have Rusto, 4 Skeleton Horse Archers, DJ Kotep with his Bound Sandstorm, and then Protection and Vengeance for his spells. Skeleton Chariots, Nehekara Horsemen, a front line of Skeleton Warriors. We do have a Bone Giant, 4 Skeleton Archers, the Eyes of the Desert, and more Horsemen. The Bone Giant is currently counter-firing the Shade Wraith Gunners. Realizing he can't outduel 2 cannons, he is just going to try and take the Shade Wraith Gunners with him and take it as a win, as Noctilus tries to heal them up with the Invocation of Nehek. And the Skeleton Horse Archer is doing a good job kiting. Noctilus is very good against cavalry, though. His spread cannon shots do a lot of damage. As we get Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance and the Bone Giant shots, that is actually probably going to kill them. And a very nice Skullstorm. Really good casts here from Rusto so far. Like that target priority. As Usirian's is kind of like a mini Fate of Buna, so similar to Skaven and Jezzail teams, it does a lot of damage to the Shade Wraith Gunners. And then with the Bone Giant providing Overwatch fire, they honestly might just die. We can see they're at -42 leadership. They might get down to -55 and just kill themselves off. So really good start here for the Tomb Kings. There we go. The Shade Wraith Gunners are dead. The Bone Giant can die happy. If I was the Bone Giant, again, I would just take the loss versus the cannons. You know you can't outshoot. Ooh, 3 cannons? Yeah, you definitely can't outshoot them. I would just start shooting at Noctilus. Just tax his HP. You know he's going to Invocation Hack himself several times throughout this game. Just start poking him. I would leave the cannons for your archers. Which, by the way, I have to say, I do... While I compliment Rusto's spell management this game, I do not like his overall strategy. He is taking way too long to advance. He needed to recognize earlier that 3 Carronades in the Shade Wraith Gunners is going to outshoot 1 Bone Giant by quite a lot. But his front line is starting to move up now. His Bone Giant's still firing at the Carronades, trying to reduce some of the damage coming his way, as Skeleton Chariots and some Nehekara Horsemen are trying to figure out how to get in here without getting shot to death. Looks like they're going to just go for it. Coming from a downhill area, it makes it harder for the handgunners to see you. But once you're on top, we are going to get a lot of handgun fire, and so these Skeleton Chariots probably won't live very long. The Tomb King's front line should win. They have better infantry and archer support compared to the handguns that aren't going to be helping with the frontline fight at all. Nice job from Rusto weaving into the back line, already disrupting a lot of handgunners. Noctilus is still trying to discourage the skirmish cav from participating too much, and the Bone Giant is going down as we speak. He took out half of a Carronade, but he did help with that Shade Wraith Gunner, so can't complain. Does he fire one last shot? Nah, he did. Dedge. The Skeleton Chariots and Nehekara Horsemen rolling through. Doing great. Tomb King's army passives proccing, so I see some healing coming down here and there, and that should mean that we'll get new Shopti summon relatively soon, probably on the back line of the coast. Out of the cannons, 2 are shut down. 1 is crumbling to death. The other one is just currently under assault, but not quite crumbling yet. 1 is completely uncontested. The Bone Giant is gonna die. He's still crumbling. He's working on it. But the cannons don't have a lot of good targets left. Kotep's been staying in this pit intentionally, so he can't get hit. And then Sprockle Stalkers were hidden for a long time. So now that they can see them, the cannons just shoot at the Sprockle Stalkers until the end of their days. I'm getting a little concerned, though. Nice job, Bone Giant, shooting the Noctilus in the back. But I'm getting a little concerned about the Vampire Coast. Their front line's falling apart a little too quickly. Noctilus throws out 2 summons. I'm kind of surprised he threw a pistol summon out when he was just going to go into melee, but I guess it's so that this happens. When they run away, the pistols still just shoot them as they're running. And then his Captain Roth's Moondial summon is also chasing those guys down, so... Pushing away some archers, doing some decent damage. And Noctilus throws out yet another pistol summon. Kind of surprised it was off cooldown already. But okay. Alright. So pistol summons out. Once again, just going to run at the Nekara Horsemen, and they'll run away. Skeleton Horse Archers getting hit with Melkoths. Noctilus is probably going to turn and shoot. We have handguns shooting them as they leave, and the pistols. So that is a lot of just consistent DPS chasing those guys down. Shade Wraith, the Wraith Storm hitting some Skeleton Chariots, trying to get them to crumble away and leave the backline of the coast alone. There's the Ushapti summon. Pretty close game so far. I don't know if the coast can get onto the enemy backline and really stop these archers from free firing in. The archers can kill the animated hulks pretty easily and Noctilus, so that's going to be a big problem in the late game, so they need some way of getting onto those archers. Good job pushing back these Skirmish Cav and Sprockle Stalkers over here. That's been going fine. I'm more worried about the archers at the moment. Ushapti summon going to take down the Carronade. Make sure they're never seen or heard from again. As the archers pour fire onto animated hulks. There goes that summon in the distance, so this might rally the archer. Maybe they'll stop crumbling. Yeah, they'll be fine. So we have 3 archers who are healthy enough. 1 who's pretty damaged, but still should be able to participate. Another Captain Roth's Moondial summon onto this Skeleton Archer. They're going to need to fall back. And another pistol summon from Noctilus. He has 1 summon left total. But animated hulks and pistols going to chase off the skeleton archers. Should be pretty good for those guys. Alright, have to adjust my mic there. Skeleton Archer is firing at the animated hulks as they kite backwards, doing good. Meanwhile, over here, Tomb King's losing some skirmishers and some infantry, but overall doing fine. Sprockle Stalkers can come back to the fight in a second. Balance power is about 50-50. Coast did take the point at one juncture. Wait, no, Tomb Kings did, sorry. Tomb Kings took the point at one juncture, so time is ticking up in their favor. I just want to say that the Arkan Rant, Kotep is fine too. Yeah, dude, Kotep is very solid, for sure. Tomb King's only bad lords are Khalida and the generic. Another Wraith Storm out from Noctilus, this one just on Skeleton Archers. Shows you how worried he is about those archers in the late game, that he would even use a Wraith Storm on it instead of like Kotep or some of the Horsemen. There goes his final summon. All of them have been overcast at this point. No more Melkoths, I don't think. He's got to be running out of Winds of Magic soon. And I think the coast has realized the jig might be up. You have 2 summons at full health, but looking around elsewhere, we have a handgunner that's almost dead and has cavalry sprinting towards it. We have a half-health animated Hulk. Noctilus with no ammo on a pretty bad dueling mount. Though Kotep is also a terrible duelist, so I don't know if he wants this fight. He did throw down Nero's Incantation of Protection to try and stay safe while he duels a little bit, but still, it's not going great for him. But once we wait out these summons, the Tomb Kings will still have archers that come back. Archers can shoot the animated Hulks, then shoot Noctilus, and just win the game. As these handgun mobs have rallied briefly, Skeleton Horse Archers sprint in to get them crumbling again, but also, you know, just getting melee with them, get some damage out. Kotep losing the duel with Noctilus falls back, leaving Noctilus in a pile of Skeleton Warriors. Last pistol summon has 60 seconds left as the archers have continued to kite away. But the Tomb Kings have time on their side. They can afford to run their archers super far away from these summons and just stop taking damage, because they've ticked up so much of the control point, right? They're doing the same thing with these Sprockle Stalkers. Sprockle Stalkers have just been staying safe until there's out of summons or something, but they can come back at any point in time. Handguns are dying off. Kotep comes over to help clean them up. But it's just been a patience game here from the Tomb Kings. They have Sporkle Stalkers to bring back to the fight. They have Archers to bring back to the fight. 18 seconds left in these pistols, and the Archers were starting to come back. Now they're getting shots. They're going to retreat again. Snakes are hiding. And there goes that summon. Archers are getting tired of waiting for it. So the battlefields have cleaned up a lot. It's a lot easier to understand. It's just Noctilus with no ammo and a good amount of HP. An animated Hulk that's actually starting to crumble in the distance, getting skirmished out. And all three of these archers are about to walk up and pincushion Noctilus. There is still a Sporkle Stalker if you need it, though at this point I'm starting to wonder if it's a tactical reserve or if the player just forgot it's there. Because it should definitely be moving up by now. Noctilus throws a heal on himself, duels with Kotep, though Kotep is mostly just there to make sure that Noctilus doesn't keep marching towards his archers. He wants them to stand still and take all these shots. His invocation hack heals him up. And they're just going to call it. Noctilus is like, yeah, all right, fine. You win. Cannons did pretty well. Shade Wraith Gunners got literally 0 value. Noctilus did fine. GG's. For Rusto, Kotep did well. Skeleton Archers did fine. Most of them just had to spend all game running, but they were there when they were needed. And when they were about to get their big value on Noctilus, the player surrendered. So rip. You guys are in the ether. Yep, okay. Okay. Going to game 3. Who will go to finals? Will it be Incarz or Rusto? Let's find out. The final game here, Warriors of Chaos versus the Beastmen. Beastmen, more like the best men. I'm gonna transfer to sitting. I've been standing this whole stream. Try and mix it up. But I don't want to stand forever. Hey, kitty cat. Ed's here, feeling sassy. Oi! Uh-oh. We got the sunset version of this map. Everything's gonna be really hard to see. Okay. For the Beastmen of Rusto, we have Ungor Spearman Herds as the front line, a couple Ungor Raiders for a bit of shoosting. Then we have Minotaurs, Butcher's Guard ROR, Razorgore Herds, 2 Tuskgore Chariots, Malagor Dark Omen with Flock of Doom, some Centaurs with Throwing Axes, and then Korngors and Pestigores in the trees. On the other side, for the Warriors of Chaos, we have Marauder Horsemen, Elstriders, Azazel with his Rampage and Acquiescence, and then we have some Forsaken, Marauders, the Rotting Riders, and Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights. Out we go. First blood drawn by the Beastmen as Malagor gets a quick little Flock of Doom off for 220 value. Classic Flock of Doom. And the Skirmish Cav. Skirmish back a bit. Where's the capture point? There it is. Some more Skirmish Cav are taking it. Incarz on the Warriors of Chaos trying to get that point ticking nice and early. Younger Raiders fire onto the Hellstriders. 15 armor and bronze shields. Not great for the poor Hellstriders if they get shot at. So they're going to retreat now. Get going. Get going. But the archers will do most of the work to try and just force the melee fight to start. Foot archers almost always outtrade skirmish cavalry in terms of damage. But, ooh, Rusto! Your Ungor Raiders ended up past your front line. Forsaken ignore them entirely, however, sprinting after the Ungor Spearman Herds. The real targets the Forsaken wanted. They try and hunt those guys down. What's going on elsewhere? Still Skirmish Cav, trying to find an angle, trying to find a fight. Butcher's a Calvin Guard running downhill to countercharge these Chaos Knights, most likely. Chaos Knights are going to pull back. They want none of that, as the Forsaken actually get lit up by the Centaurs with Throwing Axes. Well, the Hellstriders come in to peel, offer a little bit of support, make sure those guys don't get too lonely. And, ooh, the Tuskgore Chariots get immediately charged by the Rotting Riders and instantly deleted. Acquiescence getting rid of their speed and melee defense, so 0 melee defense, they just get wrecked. The Hellstriders are fighting on top of Korngors and basic spears, which is not going great for them, so they're also going to rout off. Both sides trading a lot of damage. Beastmen are actually quite up on the balance of power as some Marauders tear out away. Other Hellstriders of Slaanesh jump straight into Centaurs and Doom. Pestigors going downhill into them is going to get rid of these Hellstriders quite quickly. So unfortunately, some over-aggression with the Hellstriders, costing them a lot of HP. Still, we have the Rotting Riders. Still, we have Azazel running around doing whatever. What is that? Feral Rage. Oh, okay. It's not a Slaanesh thing. Rotting Riders get a rear charge on this giant blob of units, immediately tear outing the Ungor Raiders and just kind of forcing everybody else away. But we do have some Centaurs with throwing axes that are the real target of that charge. They're on the other side of the blob. They're already in safety, so now you're just fighting random infantry. Which is the Calgard wander back uphill, looking to fight the Rotting Riders, who are currently poisoned. And the Beastmen pull even further ahead on the balance of power. Acquiescence down again, the Butcher's Calgard taking their melee defense down to 32, which is actually still pretty good, to be honest. Pestigor's terror out away at high HP points. Beastmen still have a bunch of rallying forces, and the Centaur throwing axes just chucking up into the Rotting Riders is pretty brutal. I feel like this happens to Warriors of Chaos a lot, especially when they take the Rotting Riders, is they're very expensive. So if they spend a lot of the game trying to find a fight, they just don't get their value back that you really need from them. Because they're 2,400 gold. They're super expensive. And at this point, the Butchers are just hunting them. Centaurs with throwing axes are consistently throwing at them. And a Pavane is about to rampage those guys into Azazel, which is fine. But if your Rotting Riders turn around to help Azazel at all, I mean, there's a ton of support here that forces them away. The infantry of the Warriors of Chaos is getting pushed away. We still have 1/4 health Forsaken left, and that's about it. Everything else is routing too. Still have a healthy Chaos Knight, have a healthy Azazel, and have a healthy Rotting Rider, even though they're being forced to flee. They do have a lot of HP and they have regeneration, so if they can keep getting away, that'd be great. But it doesn't look like they're actually getting that far away as the Butchers of Calgard are running them down, starting to get those Minotaur charges in, which Minotaurs are great at charging stuff. Rotting Riders actually go negative on leadership for a bit, and if they rout, which they are, they lose their damage resistance for the rest of the game. That's a pretty bad loss, and at that point, the Warriors of Chaos just throw in the towel. Rusto and his Beastmen will advance to finals. Incarz put up a hell of a fight. It was not enough. Hellstriders, Chaos Knights struggling to get value. Skirmish Cav and the Rotting Riders, similar boat. For Rusto, Malgor did fine. Butch Calgard did fine. Pestigors and Korngors, more mixed, except for one Korngor did great. Tuscar Trades did alright. GG's. GG. So that takes us to Flower versus Rusto. All right, gang. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. This series is going to be toxic. All right? I don't want to dissuade anybody from watching my content, but if you wanted to leave for the next 5 hours, I think you'd be pretty safe. It's dwarves. Oh my god, it's dwarves. I'm vomiting. I'm vomiting uncontrollably. Nah, I'll quit joking around. I know some people like dwarves. I just... Okay, I wasn't done. Oh my god. I think it's over. I think it's over. Okay, sorry. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, High Elves. High Elves, got it. High Elves are taking Lion Chariots of Krace, War Lions of Krace, an Arcane Phoenix with Alariel up in the sky with Tempest and Earthblood. Tempest to slow down gyrocopters that are nearby. Then we have Rangers, Archers, and Lions of Krace. On the other side for the... We have Ironbrow. We have Delvers. Then we have Warriors. A couple Drakes. Bolt Thrower. A Flame Cannon. And some Dragonback players.
Stop doing bits, you're not funny.
I'm kind of funny.
Well, I don't think it's funny.
Well, you probably like dwarves. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say something that messed up to you. Nobody likes dwarves. It's okay. It's okay. Thoric out here with Rune of Wrath and Ruin and Rune of Slowness. The Flame Cannon. Flame Cannon's pretty Chad. Honestly, pretty Chad Flame Cannon. currently wrecking some Rangers. Trollhammer torpedoes making Lion Chariots of Krace feel bad as War Lions of Krace also join up with them. Jimbo, do you need a pinch? You seem to be having a stroke while you're saying unit names. Dagroth, you're back with the pinching. Anyway, the Lions get in here. The Lions do good damage against the Flame Cannon, but they are having to fight on top of Giant Slayers, so I think say goodbye to your Lions and your Lion Chariots. Elsewhere, the Arcane Phoenix is trying to punish a blob of dwarves. Its Vortex does not do that much damage. We can see the Lions are getting pelted on their way out. Haha, Lions and pelt. They do have 10% ward save and 30% missile resistance from the Shield of Safri. There was a spell cast recently, as Alarielle tries to find somewhere for her talents to be recognized. And the dwarves, for the large part, are ignoring her. They don't really want to use too much ammunition on her, and then she just heals up. They're more busy killing the things that can actually disrupt them for too long, and they'll kill the birds later, so that's pretty good target priority from them. Lion Chariots of Krace, Rune of Slowness is out. Rahagras Pride even popped their little Lion's Roar. Oh no, you reduced my 150 leadership by 8. What will I do with 142 leadership left? I'm so scared. Anyway, Trollhammer torpedoes firing at the Lion Chariots of Krace, who are currently slowed by the Master Rune of Slowness. The Grim Delvers are actually in very dire straits. They're very surrounded and getting eaten alive. So good win for the High Elves there on that front. Elsewhere, the Lion Chariots of Krace getting pushed back, very damaged, but they could get healing later. Flame Cannon's trying to keep the archers at bay, but Rahagras Pride are back in, disrupting the cannons and Trollhammers at the same time. We're going to need our Slayers to get a little more active. I feel like there's a lot of Slayers in this build, and they're just not fully where they need to be at all times. As these Giant Slayers are currently a little AFK, they start to move now. The Dragonback Slayers run in, but the Flame Cannon is already doomed. One archer is firing in for free. Flame Cannon is not available to shoot at it, as this Bolt Thrower is trying to just punish the Lion Chariots of Krace. Bolt Throwers got reworked, and then they were OP, and now I feel like they're pretty whatever. I don't know why. I feel like they just don't fire that often, or they miss a lot, but They're still very cheap, and their 8 models make them really good at blocking large units that try and charge in your formation, but I just thought I'd comment that for some reason I feel like Bolt Throwers lost a lot of damage. As a fellow Elf hater and Dwarf hater, I see this match as an absolute win. Either loses. Chat is just devolving into Dwarf hate, and I'm kind of here for it. Sorry, not sorry. As the Arcane Phoenix uses its little vortexes on these guys, doing its best. Trollhammer's trying to hit the War Lions, but the War Lions are low to the ground, so they're dodging a lot of the shots, and then even when they get hit, they do have 30% missile resistance, so yeah, that's been going pretty well for the High Elves as their War Lions tanking through it. Dwarf Warriors trying to get between the Rangers and their precious ranged units as Bolt Throwers fire. And the Lion Chariots of Krace both get a Star of Avalorn and an Earthblood Overcast. We're really trying to heal up those models. As the regular War Lions, not the ones attached to chariots, are starting to rout for like the second or maybe third time. We'll start to see some of them shatter soon. For the Dwarves, Grim Delvers are back. We still have 4 Trollhammer torpedoes, all very active. We have 1 Bolt Thrower. It looks like the Flame Cannon is... There they are. They're trying to come back, but Rahagras Pride instantly just jump all over them. Push those guys away, and they'll set their second out of 3 routes going. Arcane Phoenix dives onto the Grim Delvers. Blasts them. And we still have these Trollhammers that are now turning towards the archers. Other Trollhammers are under attack. High Elves heal their chariots, get through the Iron Drakes as well. And the Dragonback Slayers again are AFK. I just cannot condone this. The Dragonback Slayers need to be way more active. They should have been up here fighting these guys, because like these Iron Drake Trollhammer torpedoes are under attack and they're just not responding. Stop chasing Alarielle! Stop it! You were so good about it earlier. Just ignore her. She's so fast. You can't catch her. Kill all these lions. Get rid of them. And then when Alarielle's the last thing left, then you can blast her. But these Slayers have just got to be in better positions. I know I'm rooting for the Dwarves to lose, but also I want people to do the right things. Giant Slayers are trying to get to this blob fight finally. It felt like they took too long to get there. Arcane Phoenix lands on Thoric, but the Giant Slayers, where are you wandering to? They're chasing Shattered Rangers. Dragonbacks. For the love of Christmas, man! Trollhammer's just pounding their Rahagras Pride and the Arcane Phoenix. Can't dodge as well when you're busy fighting Thoric, I guess. Giant Slayers and Dwarf Warriors charge straight into the jaws of these Lion Chariots that are charging straight at them, but this is a good place for the Giant Slayers to be. This is a great place for the Giant Slayers to be. Trollhammer still lighting up the Arcane Phoenix. That does have fire and physical resistance, so it has 60% resistance to those shots coming in for it. As Rahagras Pride retreat. Bounce power is against the Dwarves, but I never count them out until they're actually dead. Rune of Slowness on the Arcane Phoenix, but no real plans to punish it right now, as this Bolt Thrower is still firing, still has very pathetic damage considering it's been firing all game unhindered. Arcane Phoenix gets a quick Vortex out on the Dragonback Slayers. We're going to pull away from it. Jeremy, I'll take PETA. I'll take him. Arcane Phoenix has to land. Dragonback Slayers are nearby. Need to get activated. Need to get activated. Get in there. Get in there. There you go. Now Lion Chariots of Krace get more healing. Their heal cap is getting close, but Dwarf Warriors are forced to fight them. Archers are firing in, and there is a capture point that is slowly ticking down. It looks like these players also opted into playing Conquest mode. Bolt Throwers still trying to shoot over these Lions. Now they've started to get some value. They started to pay for themselves. For Hogwarts Pride can get pushed away by the Dragonback Slayers and some other stuff. Still have Troll Hammers firing in. Still have Giant Slayers trying to chase down the Lion Chariots of Krace. And the L'Oreal is a lot of balance of power that is pretty fraudulent. Like, if you get to a late game with just a L'Oreal, you know, the Dwarves will be just fine. Still have a Bolt Thrower. Still trying to harass these Chariots. We have Troll Hammer Torpedoes that need to get some shots off somewhere. Looks like they're turning and firing now at the retreating Chariots. Still getting some misses here and there. Those Chariots are tricky. And Giant Slayers immediately run for the Arcane Phoenix. The Arcane Phoenix is trying to pass towards them, so it is going to take a charge attack from all these Dwarves. And Giant Slayers are amazing at killing large targets. So there's a couple hundred HP off the Arcane Phoenix. In comes some Lion Chariots, but they're going to retreat. And a nice Rune of Wrath and Ruin to finish off those archers should be fine. Dwarves move over to capture the point now. I think that is appropriate. Dragonback Slayers ready for these Lion Chariots that charge straight into them. They get the flammable debuff, so they're now slowed by the Dragonbacks. A good charge in from those Chariots. Still get a lot of damage. On their way out, they'll take a little bit of oomph. Bolt Throwers got knocked off their mounts. They need to get going again. And what is this? Thoric is getting 2v1'd by the birds. Giant Slayers try and run out and save him. Thoric is immune to psychology, so he is just fine. And the cavalry is here. Can Thoric hold on? Can his Slayers actually save him? Arcane Phoenix runs away. And the Dwarves still try and hold, almost getting rid of these Lion Chariots. Dwarf Warriors in the distance, capturing the point, trying to make sure that they don't get ticked down like that. Bolt Throwers do need to get back online. They have been knocked off their mounts for quite a while. I don't know if the Dwarf player noticed that. They're just kind of wandering around as part of the melee blobs. We are getting some Iron Drake Trollhammer Torpedoes back in the distance. Very low HP, 120 and 250. And that is apparently enough as they keep switching targets, trying to figure out which ones they can get rid of and actually stop them from shutting them down once more. This Lion Chariot might rout, but it looks like it's going to get the charging bonus. It does get the charging leadership bonus, so it will catch these Trollhammer Torpedoes yet again, though both the Lion Chariots are very, very low. Army losses is getting super close. I'm sure the Dwarves are pissed off about that because they feel like they probably got a shot still. As one of the Lion Chariots routes, Trollhammer is still firing in on it. This other one has 88 HP and it's fine. Bounce power still very bad for the Dwarves. As the Dwarves move up, the High Elves did stop them from taking the point. It was very close, but they did stop them. Arcane Phoenix needs a little more healing if Alariel can manage it just to trigger army losses. Triggering army losses is probably the easiest way to win this now, as the Bolt Thrower is still trying to deal with that Lion Chariot of Krace. 3 models left, charging the Troll Hammers, who are trying to fire at point-blank range. Just under 800 HP. That Bolt Thrower still needs to get some damage done there, but that needs to turn onto the Phoenixes most likely. I think this bounce power is really fraudulent. For the Dwarves, like, they're like, please let us fight this out. I think we got this. And for the High Elves, they're like, army losses, army losses, army losses, army losses. Bolt Thrower's still trying to get the Lion Chariots of Krace. Wow, you are taking forever to get rid of them, my dude. There, it finally got a good volley in, took them out real fast. Healing in for the High Elves. Every Earthblood is going to, like, make me think of army losses. The Dwarves pile onto the point to stop it from ticking over against them. They will capture it now, so they'll be okay. Slayers pile into Nolariel, and she's going to take so much damage so quickly. That bounce power is not going to be a problem anymore for very long, and you'll realize why I've been kind of like, all right, bounce power, calm down. The Dwarves are still very much in this. As the Bolt Thrower tries to protect itself from those Lion Chariots ever coming back, Archers very close to routing, but Thoric, oh no! Thoric might die! The Arcane Phoenix is going for him. A pile of pissed off Dwarves try and get between Thoric and the Arcane Phoenix as Troll Hammers try and light up Alariel or whatever else may show up. Rune of Wrath and Ruin to get rid of those archers once and for all. Bam, there they go. They shatter. We're officially down to 2 versus 250. Alarielle taking so much damage, though. I told you her full HP bar was fraudulent. Now the bolt throwers are starting to poke at her. Trollhammer torpedoes reforming, and just when you thought the dwarves don't have it in them, the dwarves always have it in them. Flying leadership debuff applied. Alarielle is definitely gonna rout because of the flying units thing. She's so close to routing. She's so close. As the bolt thrower gets attacked by the Arcane Phoenix, the dwarves start to move over. The capture point's ticking up in their favor. They don't need to care about that, but they do care that this bolt thrower might get stopped. Now, earlier I said the bolt thrower doesn't do that much damage anymore. I don't know why. It didn't get nerfed or anything, but this is what it is good at, is having like 6 or 7 or 8 models just makes it so confusing for large targets to stop you. Alarielle gets absolutely punked by the Trollhammer torpedoes, and she does rout. Balance of power goes right back towards the center, and now the dwarves are tunneling in on the Arcane Phoenix. We still have Slayers. We still have Giant Slayers. Alarielle is routing, but she is not dead, and the bolt throwers just throw on guard mode and turn towards her. The balance of power shifting further towards the center as the Arcane Phoenix has to pile through Slayers, and it's probably going to go straight for Thoric and just try and take him out, just try and do something. Without units on the ground, the enemy is forced to land or take a leadership debuff as the bolt throwers and troll hammers fire at Alarielle, just trying to get rid of her once again. I think she's only routed once, so she should be able to come back a second time. The Arcane Phoenix lands on Thoric, gets another shot on him, and he Master Rune of Slowness and Wrath, and Slowness and Wrath slows that thing. Alarielle still farting around in front of the bolt throwers, and the Trollhammer torpedoes are also back. She is trying to land on the bolt throwers, manages to do it. Trollhammer's unbreakable, everything unbreakable. Dwarves cannot break ever. And the Arcane Phoenix gets surrounded by the Slayers once again, getting chopped down. If it doesn't get its rebirth, this game is over. If it gets its rebirth explosion, this game might be over in the other way. So now everything is down to the Phoenix, and all of a sudden, the dwarves just win. I don't know if the high elf players surrendered or if both those units actually just routed at the same time, and I missed it. But it was really coming down to whether that Phoenix exploded or not. God, Thoric was such a mistake. Yeah, dude, no. There's okay, do you remember? Now, hey, before you all get mad at me, like, wow, this dwarf lover. Bro, when I was announcing their units, I kept making vomiting sounds. Like, I was not on board. I was not on board for this. Rusto with a good win. If Flower didn't ban dwarves, that's on Flower. Dwarves was not banned, so they were allowed. But there's a reason we give you bans. That's all I'm going to say. There's a reason we give you bans. We say, hey, you have 2 global bans. You can ban any faction in the whole game. You might want to ban a certain short one. And if the players don't, and they're like, all right, you can pick 3 factions, and you can ban one for this immediate game, you might want to ban one. And if the player's still like, no, then they might get dwarfed. They might get dwarfed. Game 1 goes to Rusto. Game 2. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. All right, I'm very scared for Flower, but let's see the vampire counts take down Khorne. As Rusto's going to try piling in. Never mind that. Khorne build is weird as hell. What is happening here? You ban dwarves, you allow direct counters to your picks. I'm saying you should have global banned dwarves. All right. 4 Marauder Horsemen of Khorne with throwing axes. That's solid. Bloodwake Berserkers is solid. Triple Chosen of Khorne. Well, sorry. 2 Chosen of Khorne with dual weapons and a Bloodwake Berserker is solid. Why do we have Chaos Spawn? Chaos Spawn are trash, but okay. And then we have Skull Taker on his throne for a bit of healing and constant AoE buffs. All right, on the other side, we have, for the vampire counts, we have Blood Knights, Dire Pack, Vargeist up in the sky, Immortus Engine, Crypt Horrors, Skeleton Spears, and Zombies. With Heinrich Kemmler, brought Wind of Death, Zombie Summon, Invocation Hack, and Krell. And then a Necromancer, with his Balefire corpse card, giving magic damage and fire damage to everybody. Now the vampire counts do surround Skulltaker with Crypt Horse. They're getting a lot of nice damage on him. He's going to heal it up, but, you know, damage is damage. The 4 Skirmish Cav need to throw probably at the Mortis Engine right away. Can also throw at the Crypt Horse a little bit. That's all right. Really just want to get these Bloodwake Berserkers and Chosen of Khorne into melee combat as much as possible as Blood Knights try and charge in on them. We get another dark map, so it's hard to see stuff, but the Blood Knights do get a decent charge, and then the Chosen of Khorne just laugh in their face and turn to swing at them. Does Khorne have fire resistance? On certain units. Like, Skulltaker does not. Bloodwake Berserkers do not. So, certain units do. Not all of them. Mortis Engine piles into Bloodwake Berserkers. Needs to be careful not to get too deep in there, because the Bloodwakes can actually take them down. As the spawn continue to churn through Crypt Horrors and whatnot. Our Skirmish Cap have had to fall back away from some of the Crypt Horrors, and yeah, nice job here. Dire Pack and Vargeist landing in on some of these Marauder Horsemen, pushing them away, getting a lot of damage out. There's not a lot of Khorne mobility to keep these guys safe, so I do like the usage of these Vargeist and whatnot, jumping out here on the Skirmish Cav. Skirmish Cav just opting into melee. They will get decent damage on the Dire Pack, but that's not the whole story. Is there's a whole bunch of Vargeist here, so that does seem like an overextension. And yeah, an upgraded Invocation heck. Blech. Hitting these guys. We've just lost 3 Khorne Skirmish Cavalry in the blink of an eye, so that is a really good engagement with the Vampire counts. The Mortis Engine got beaten to death by the Bloodwake Berserkers, and it had to fall back almost immediately. Looks like Spawn of Khorne also maybe did some damage there, judging by the damage values. Yes, they did some good damage. Skulltaker's just trying to heal up, give everybody a little bit more leadership. Horn of Khorne feels like a waste. I mean, the Chosen of Khorne aren't missing any swings versus zombies and skeleton spears, so maybe save up for a Sword of Khorne. Maybe save up for the tier 2. I really don't think you needed to use a Horn of Khorne on something. I also was kind of thinking about at the start of the game. I think the Skulltaker is a bit of a waste too. I mean, you don't need Revel and Slaughter or Totem of Endless Bloodletting for this type of build. Like, you have so much melee attack. You're fighting zombies and skeletons. Calm down. Skulltaker gets a good hit on Heinrich Kemmler, pushes him away. Remember, if you want to go to game 3, you are rooting for the vampire counts here. If you just want Rusto to 2-0, you are rooting for Khorne. Mortis Engine kites away, just trying to heal up a little bit in between his scraps. And Krell, still on the hunt after the Skulltaker, who is not particularly trying to run away right now, might want to kite out Krell and just come back into the fight after Krell has disappeared. The Bloodwake Berserkers and the Chosen of Khorne are all still very healthy. Spawn have taken a good bit of attrition damage, however. We only have 1 Skirmish Cavalry left, and it is running away from the Mortis Engine, though this does give it an opportunity to get 1 good volley out. Hey, Blubsauce. I lose, but the other guy has to play dwarves. The lose-lose scenario checks out. There's a Sword of Khorne. Beautiful shot in. The Sword of Khorne takes out a lot of zombies and just clears the way so that the Chosen of Khorne get onto more valuable targets instead of getting drained. Where's the Winds of Death? There was one earlier. As Kemmler now summons some zombies on top of Chosen of Khorne. Chosen don't care about that. They'll be just fine. Still a lot of stuff dying. Krell still has about 80 seconds left, and Skulltaker just charged him. So Skulltaker is going to try and take out Krell, which I take issue with. I would not fight Krell voluntarily if I were you, Skulltaker. Meanwhile, in the background, Vargeist and the Dire Pack still trying to kill off the last Marauder Horsemen of Khorne with throwing axes, and just simplify this down into a melee game. I am getting a little concerned about Khorne, not just because the balance of power is against them, but there are a lot of Vargeists with a ton of agency that can keep cycle charging, and of course there is still a Mortis Engine to deal with. So once Krell fades away, I'll feel a little safer for Skulltaker that he just won't die outright or something, but that Mortis Engine needs to be stopped as it's draining down all these guys. Looks like Skulltaker might see that too, and he's coming over. He's going to attack Heinrich Kemmler, but I could also see him transitioning into fighting the Mortis Engine if Kemmler runs away. Blood Knights are trying to cycle charge the spawn. It looks like they will take them out pretty quickly. Dire Pack crumbling to their death in the distance, but they did their jobs. All of the Marauder Horsemen are gone. And for the zombies, that is a summons. The only infantry in this blob pileup is a summon. Skulltaker is trying to take the game into his own hands right now. Spawn of Khorne fighting Krell, but they've accepted their death. Krell only has 20 seconds left, and then he'll fade away, and things will look a little better for the Khorne forces. Bloodwake Berserkers still trying to do their best, and in comes a Wind of Death onto 2 Chosen of Khorne who try and dodge it, but they're dodging a little bit into it. It's a good bit of poke when you're dealing with such elite troops that you're having a hard time getting rid of them. But still, this is getting very scary for the vampire counts right now. They don't have any more zombies unless Kemmler has a summon in his back pocket right about now. You're about to lose your Crypt Horrors from fighting on top of these hyper elite infantry. Your Necromancer's also going to die. The Mortis Engine has to kite away. It's healed a ton in this game, so I imagine its healing cap is right around the corner. It's about to appear. Spawn fighting Blood Knights in the distance. I mean, the Blood Knights will win that. Krell is gone, and now comes the final fight as all these Vargeists are diving in. Still, the vampire counts might win on army losses alone, but if they actually have to kill the Bloodwake Berserkers in melee, this game could get very scary. So we'll see if they can just win due to the army losses button getting hit. Skulltaker's trying to heal up slowly but surely as he is in this fight. We'll see, but army losses is here. Army losses cannot be stopped. And the Chosen of Khorne with 250 kills apiece, Bloodwake Berserkers included. Army losses is too strong. We'll be going to game 3. There's still a spawn over there that both players forgot about, so they're just going to call it on that one. Good game. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, I don't know why it skipped through the values. I was just looking at the values, but spoilers. Can't do spoilers. What now? All right, so there you are. We are in the finals with Rusto versus Flower, and we are going on to game 3. Now, you remember how I said you could take 5 hours and come check back on my stream a little later? You notice how the first dwarf game was only 2 hours? Did he just say first dwarf game? He didn't say first game that featured dwarves. He said first dwarf game. That can't be, but that would imply that there's a second dwarf game. No, that can't be. It can't be. There's a second dwarf game. Oh, God, and it's versus Grand Cathay.
Show courage.
Oh, God. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm just going to put a poll up in chat. Just an innocent poll. All right, I'm just putting up a poll. It's an honest poll. You can answer it how you want to answer it. Do I cast this game normal or do I cast it at 3x speed? I'll roll with whatever. If you guys vote for 3x speed, we'll cast the whole thing at 3x speed. We'll do it. I'm gonna talk about the builds while you guys vote. Flower illegal build, get disqualified. What's illegal about Flower's build? We have Thoric and the Dragon Slayer. We have Thunderer, Grudge Rakers, sorry, the shotgun versions. We have triple bolt throwers, no, 2 bolt throwers and a cannon. We have double giant slayers and a bunch of dwarf warriors. On the other side for Grand Cathay, we have peasant horsemen in the vanguard to be a little sneaky. Then we have a front line of jade warriors, peasant long spears. We have 4 crane gunners, 4 onyx crowmen, one of which is the Emperor's crowman, and Miao Ying, the storm dragon, with Earthblood, Missile Mirror, and Storm of Shadows. Oh, boo. It's 50-50 on the votes. Very well. Yeah, normal overtook in the end. Fine, but when the game slows down, I'm going to blame you. You also have to talk 3x speed, of course. Very well. Chat, you voted, but you voted wrong. You voted very wrong. So the 4 crane gunners should be able to outshoot the bolt throwers and the cannons if they get into range. This dwarven formation is actually going to hurt them more than help them. I think Cathay has a decent chance of winning. It will be slow. Hummus, it's kind of your fault because you allowed these people to play dwarves in the first place. These motherfuckers have 4 bands. What? They have 4 bands. How is this my fault? Oh, God. Anyway. So the cannons and the 2 bolt throwers are currently all shooting at crane gunners. Crane gunners are trying to get in range to probably take out the artillery so that they get the range advantage and they can start kiting the dwarves back for the rest of the game. They are in range now. Shoot at the bolt throwers, getting some decent damage out in the early volleys. Old dwarf things get shot on sight. Should have given them more bands. Dwarf to win. Don't drink lead paint. Got it. Someone buys paint, drinks it, and then dies. And then the people are like, why did you sell them lead paint? I told them not to drink it. At some point, it's their fault. The crane gunners are shooting the bolt throwers, and some peasant horsemen did sneak in to get a rear charge on those guys. Thunderer's grudge rakers are turning sideways to light them up, but they're obstructed because they're too short to see past the horses. One of the cannons is also going to rout soon due to the crane gunner fire, but Thoric and his Dragon Slayer compatriot have run out to harass the Grand Cathay backline. Peasant horsemen routing away. One of the bolt throwers was also routing. And now our Thunderers, I don't know why the Onyx Crowmen are bothering with this. Like, they have 4 crane gunners. The Onyx Crowmen should be harassing Thoric and the Dragon Slayer and then allowing the 4 crane gunners to kite out this build. Because the Onyx Crowmen just getting in range of Thunderers, just allowing Thunderers to participate in this game is a mistake. Like, look, you're going to lose the Emperor's Crowmen here. The blunderbusses just took them out almost entirely. Like, the Onyx Crowmen should be peeling these guys, and then your range units should take out the enemy range units and win. They're trying to use their crane gunners for a bit to shoot at the Dragon Slayer and Thoric, and that's just not important at all. Miao Ying should also be able to peel. She's a decent melee duelist. Get her to go after Thoric. Like, I know you want to avoid the Dragon Slayer, but you got to put the dwarves in a lose-lose situation, and they're just not doing that right now. Onyx Crowmen do rout one of the Thunderers. We lost the Empress Crowmen, which is pretty bad. We're starting to get some bolt throwers back now. Missile mirrors down on the cannons, but the problem with missile mirroring the cannons is when they fire, they usually don't hit themselves because they're so short. Hey, as I say that, 2 fire and hit themselves. Nice. That's funny. 1 crane gunner is routing. 3 crane gunners still left. Still trying to kill those bolt thrower crews, but as we said before, having 8 models to shoot at does diversify your fire and make it harder to really shut them down, as both bolt throwers and the cannons are back online. And the crane gunners are still trying to kite away from Thoric at the moment. Onyx Crowmen shatter off one of the Thunderers and then get back to safety. The other one is going to die in the hands of Giant Slayers, it looks like. Bounce power is roughly even, slightly Grand Cathay favored, but I'm getting super worried because Grand Cathay isn't... they're making some mistakes with their kite, which isn't going to be tolerated. When you're fighting dwarves, you kind of have to do everything almost perfectly. Master, oof, yeah, Rune of Wrath and Rune Overcast hits all those units pretty hard. And like, these peasant long spears need to peel Thoric, and this crane gunner needs to be pulling back as the peasant long spears get in his way and stop him. And like, these crane gunners just let the Dragon Slayer hit him. Like, this infantry needs to be way more aggressive about stopping the Dragon Slayer from just running from crane gunner to crane gunner and messing with him. Over here we have a Storm of Shadows slowing down the Thunderer's Grudge Rakers. I thought it was a missile mirror, and that was going to be much more effective. 1 bolt thrower is shattered. The other one is routed for the 2nd time. We'll see if it does shatter, but we still have a cannon online firing at those crane gunners. Crane gunners are getting very low, and one is getting chased by Thoric. Peasant Long Spears and Miao Ying both pathing towards the Dragon Slayer. She does have to get involved if she wants to kill that thing. Grand Cathay has also captured the point. Thunderers trying to hit the Onyx Crowmen before they get into melee, but that will not work. So the Onyx Crowmen should be able to shut down the Thunderers, and Giant Slayers are chasing way after them. Seems a bit risky to go this far back for some Crowmen, but we'll see. Because these Grudge Rakers will do well. I don't know about the Giant Slayers. Ooh, but the Giant Slayers are now about to get a little friendly fire. Yeah, because it's an uphill angle from already short Thunderers trying to shoot at stuff behind Giant Slayers, so we'll see how that goes. Cannon still firing away. And Dragon Slayer versus Dragon is here, so live up to your name, little guy. 8,000 HP versus your 2,000. You got it, for sure. For sure you're not about to get blasted. On God, for real, no cap. Thoric is getting shot briefly by crane gunners. He was still chasing one other one off, but it should rally in a second. I fast forwarded. You won't believe the ending. I'm certified to work with lead, and I do not encourage eating lead paint chips. Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. I agree. Miao Ying currently slapping the Dragon Slayer. Getting a couple good shots on him here and there. Still has very high melee stats, and she's actually going to get slowed. Rune of Slowness, but she doesn't want to go anywhere. She's fighting exactly the fight she wants. She's almost done killing the Dragon Slayer. And then there goes one of your fastest single entities at chasing down these other things. One cannon is still alive. We have Onyx Chroman in the back continuing to try and harass Flower's Grudge Rakers, and there's still a Giant Slayer chasing them around. Kind of want them to shut down that cannon once and for all as Miao Ying heals herself up a little bit. The Dragon Slayer is officially dead, and Miao Ying has now moved on to kicking the absolute crap out of Thork. She is a better melee combatant than Thork, so she should be fine. And if any time this gets scary, she can just turn into a dragon and fly away. Cast range on Missile Mirror, very far. No, you can't cast Missile Mirror on that from all the way over here. Storm of Shadows trying to slow down the Giant Slayer so that our Crane Gunners can kite away. The Crane Gunners are trying to shoot at Thoric. Should probably... Oh, yeah, definitely not with Jade Warriors here. They need to be firing at the Giant Slayers because they can't see. These Onyx Chroman can't... sorry, the Crane Gunners can't see Thoric past the Jade Warriors, so that's a bit of a mistake here. Crane Gunners need to be shooting at the Giant Slayers because the Giant Slayers are... Now the Dragon Slayer's dead. The Giant Slayers are the only units that are fast enough to catch the Crane Gunners. 26 speed, 25 Dwarf Warriors. Yeah, if they had retreated in time, they would be safe, but it looks like they're not going to retreat in time. They're reforming too much, and Dwarf Warriors are going to get their charge bonus soon. Miao Ying is trying to chase down the Giant Slayers herself with Jade Warrior support. Meanwhile, Thoric charges directly into Crane Gunner fire. Juking as best he can. Little dwarf. Best he can. Still have a cannon firing away. And wherever that last Onyx Chroman went, it looks like it's dead, so it's not going to be a problem anymore. Rune of Wrath and Ruin on the Crane Gunners. Just going to get a little bit of damage, maybe get them to rout. 4 leadership, not quite enough to get rid of them just yet. And Miao Ying continues to harass the Giant Slayers. She uses healing for her Crane Gunners and a slow onto the Giant Slayers. Minus 45% speed, 22 to 26 speed. The Giant Slayers are still going to catch them. Charge bonus is a hell of a drug. They do take out the Crane Gunners. Dwarves have pulled ahead on the balance of power, and I don't disagree. I mean, like, look at all the Crane Gunners routing. And all the Grand Cadet infantry is also pretty much toast. So you're going to have Miao Ying versus 2 units of Giant Slayers, Thoric Ironbrow, and a Grudge Raker, with a cannon firing Overwatch too. I overcast Pinch. Rhino's always overcasting Pinch. I just want to remind you that you could have... only you can prevent dwarf games by either banning dwarves or voting for the ×3 speed cast, because now we're stuck here. I don't like placing blame, but now you fucked up. Thor goes to fight Miao Ying. She does a super cool lightning land and then misses her attack, so it was kind of pointless, but then she turns into a giant dragon. Dragon! I'm a dragon! Just gonna land on Thoric. Don't worry, she just turned into a dragon so she can miss him again in a different form. Rune of Slowness, that's not gonna change anything, because she is just T-posing on you. Army losses hit. But dwarves are still cringe. Dwarves are cringe, and they went 2-0 in this series. Flower will win. Ban dwarves, kids. Ban dwarves. And if you see dwarves on quick battle, dodge. Dodge, 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 dodge. Don't play that shit. Does she have better animations in dragon form? She actually has worse animations in dragon form. Yeah. For dwarves, the giant slayers did fine. Thunderers did okay. Bolt throwers and cannon did all right, but it was mostly the dragon slayer and Thoric just chasing down crane gunners. It was a G. It was a G, certainly. I won't say GG. I'll just say G. All right. That is a 3-2 win. Sorry, a 2-1 win to Flower. Congratulations on winning the Chieftain playoffs. Well deserved, well played. We are on to the Grey Seers. The best of the best, the best and brightest. We have Berserk, Blood Penguin, Ash, and Butcher Bird. None of those players are dwarf players, but I'm gonna go ahead and look. I'm gonna look and see into our future. There is one dwarf game left in the whole stream. There's one dwarf game left. You will have another opportunity to make the correct decision. Listen, you will have another opportunity to let me ×3 speed cast something. And you had better do it. You had better vote right. Please. Game 1, our first game of Bretonnia of the entire day. We have 15 best of 3s we are casting today. We are in the final 3. This is your first game of Bretonnia. You enjoy it. You enjoy this. And remember to vote to let me cast the next goddamn dwarf game at ×3 speed. So Blood Penguin, reppin' Bretonnia versus Berserk's Beastmen. For Bretonnia, we have the Green Knight in the Vanguard. Knights of the Realm, Spearmen at Arms, Peasant Mobs, all buffed up by a Grail Leak. We have a Damsel of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood, some Peasant Bowmen, Alberic de Bordelot, and then more Knights of the Realm on the back. Doom and Darkness just casts a dwarf game into the victim's mind. All right, on the other side for the Beastmen, Ungor Spearmen herds, Pestigors in the Vanguard with Centaurs with great weapons, Centaurs regular, more Centaurs great weapons, Sons of Goros, Minotaurs with great weapons, Centaurs with throwing axes, and Malagor Dark Omen with Flock of Doom. Nice Flock of Doom cast early on for Malagor, gets a lot of damage onto 3 peasant units. The Sons of Goros are just going to charge straight into peasant mobs as Berserk tries to break through the front line. That's a lot of people going in the book today. Dwarves are boring right now. They don't have to be, but they've been overpowered and boring for far too long. Since the Thrones of Decay DLC, over a year ago, dwarves have been at the very top of the meta, and it's getting obnoxious. Also, their games are all slow and very boring. Like, I have yet to cast an exciting dwarf game. In over a year, I have not had one dwarf game that was good. Anyway, for this game in front of us, instead of just yelling at someone in chat who did nothing wrong, besides like a faction that I don't happen to enjoy at its current moment, the Green Knight is getting punked by Minotaurs. Even with his ghostly etherealness, still Minotaurs' great weapons are going to chop straight through him. Malagor is getting more and more Flocks of Doom on this clump on the top, but Blood Penguin is going to try and counter it by firing back with Earthblood. Knights of the Realm waiting for a good opportunity to get engaged. Archers are just trying to punish Centaurs for now. And Berserk is mostly using his infantry advantage to force the cavalry into bad spots. Like fighting on top of these Pestigors with the Centaurs are great weapons. Overall should be fine for the Beastmen. The Knights of the Realm would love to fight the Centaurs on open ground, but with infantry nearby, at least the Centaurs get a little bit of help. Though a terror out might be coming for them soon. Malagor lands on the damsel, tries to hurt her. I mean, he's getting good shots in. She's already down to half HP as she starts to run away. Centaurs still charging in where they need to. The front line of Bretonnia is crumbling under the force of the Beastmen, but the Beastmen are also losing troops here and there, and Bretonnia did bring more peasants than the Beastmen brought Pestigors and Gors. So 2-for-1 or 1-for-1 trades are great for Bretonnia. The Beastmen have got to get a big break, and they've got to get it soon. Bounce power still about 50-50 as Malagor flies over the top. The top? Whatever. He flies above the battle. You get it. You understand what's happening here. As Minotaurs continue to fight with the Green Knight now has Spearmen at Arms helping him out. Spearmen at Arms would love to poke at these wounded Minotaurs who only have 30 armor. So that is a great trade for Blood Penguin. And Blood Penguin's starting to make little inroads on the balance of power. Just teeny tiny little inroads. But everywhere you look, the Pestigors are running out of oomph. Sons of Goros are starting to retreat. And Bretonnia still stands atop of this weird mound type thing that they've assigned themselves as their home base. Knights of the Realm chase away the Centaurs, trying to still get them in an open fight, but the Knights of the Realm actually start to pull away. It looks like they want to go countercharge these throwing axes. That will allow these Centaurs to get to safety, though their superior speed probably guaranteed that anyway. Oof. Overcast hurts the Damsel of Life a lot, and then she does not receive any of her own healing. She was in the circle, but the priority didn't go to her for some reason, and Malagor dives right on her. This is a huge loss for Blood Penguin. Very unlucky with the overcast damage hitting her and then not getting the healing. The healing just went to every other unit besides her. Malagor finishes the snipe, and there is no way that Damsel is rallied in this game. The Beastmen have always owned the territory outside of the Bretonnian box, so once she routs, she'll be out in their turf, and she should get run down. Bretonnia will have a hard time rallying her. But everywhere else, the fight is going pretty darn great for Bretonnia. The Green Knight still stands a very good source of terror against the Beastmen in the late game, where the Beastmen don't have the best leadership. So he's still around. He's still doing his best. And hell, if he really wants healing, I mean, he can just go in the woods. The Green Knight, he's going in the woods! Oh, he's trying to fight some guys in the woods, but he really wants to. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he's getting the heal. He is just on the tip of the forest. The tippity tip. He's like, I'm barely in the forest. Look at me go. I'm healing. That's funny. That's really funny. I like that he just barely touches the forest while still doing something. He's like, I'm doing stuff. He's that kid that's like, he's the kid that's on his way to dinner, but he's in the middle of something and he doesn't want to quit just yet. So he's still got the controller in his hand and he's walking towards the door, but he's like playing and like leaning into his bedroom so you can still see. He's like, I'm coming to dinner. I'm just getting a little heal first. Another overcast, well, not overcast, another Flock of Doom from Malagor, really hurting all the Bretonians in this pile up, but Alberic's still full HP. We still have a lot of Peasant Spears standing next to the Grail Relic, making them pretty much unbreakable. But Berserk's got to run down this Damsel. It looks like he's on it. We've got some Centaurs over here killing the Peasant Bowman, but also making sure the Damsel continues routing. So Berserk, very elite, very strong player. Not going to let something like that slip through his hands. Or is he? Oh shit, he's going to do it just as I was throwing praise at him. Berserk allows the Damsel to come back. She can throw some healing on herself and these archers and rally. Uh-oh. Oopsie poopsie. Damsel throws a heal onto Alberic and the peasants instead, recognizing that she's not in safe waters just yet. She could rout at any moment, and Centaurs could remember she exists and go take her out. So she's just going to heal the units that can actually carry the game. Bretonnia is very far ahead, and the Green Knight is still in the woods, baby. He's actually doing it. He's actually just forest camping with the Green Knight to get the heal. Look at how slow that shitty heal is. Look at how slow that stupid heal is. That's funny. We need the Skaven on top of the meta, yes. Skaven were pretty strong for a pretty long time. They, as much as it pains me to say it, they need a moment where they're just not that good. Or fine. And I think they're kind of in the fine category right now, or they're not that good, but they deserve it. They deserve to be down there for a little bit. Dwarves should probably get some leadership nerfs, or make them slightly slower. Skaven fans hating dwarves? Yeah. The mound is actually a giant pile of beastman shit. It's their toilet. Well, it's Bretonnia's toilet now. I hate watching this because I want both these players to win. Aw. That's sad. I hate watching this because I like both these players. All right, Blood Penguin finally takes the time to heal up the Damsel a little bit, make her leadership less shaky, and the Peasant Bowman over there as well. The Green Knight is back, providing that late game terror. Like I said, look at these Beastmen units. Now that they're all ragged, just terror routing away from Alberic and the Green Knight wherever they go. It's just too spooky. They just can't do it. And there's a regrowth, a late game regrowth for Alberic. Oh, just a little bit of vigor regen. The vigor regen isn't going to be that critical. I don't think it'll even move him from like exhausted to winded. He might get to very tired, but the healing is going to be nice, and Berserk throws in the towel. One Bretonnia game, one Bretonnia win. We take those. Good job, Blood Penguin. We're down to 66 viewers for yelling at dwarves. We were at 80 at one point. Rip in peace, Dowie. Minotaurs, Centaurs did okay. Pestigors did all right. For Blood Penguin, or Plague Penguin on Steam, on Discord, he's Blood Penguin. Green Knight and Alberic provided a lot of nice terror. Knights of the Realm did fine damage-wise, but I think actually the Peasants are going to have to do most of the damage here. Yeah, the Peasant Spears did well. Peasant Halberds did well. Archers did very well. GG. Go back to the desktop so y'all can't see how many games there are gonna be. Game 2 between these two. Berserk on the back foot, and he goes with Grand Cathay versus Blood Penguin's High Elves. High Elves and Blood Penguin need to win this game to go to finals. Berserk needs to win this game and the next. We get our Sky Lantern. This is a risky Cathay build, actually, versus High Elves. But High Elf's still going with this like single entity attack. We've seen a lot of this today, and I didn't know it was really that popular in the meta, but we have an Arcane Phoenix, a Star Dragon, and another single entity. It was previously like another caster, or like I forget if it was a Shadows caster or something on a dragon. And then for Black Knight, it was Imric, a Moon Dragon, and a healer. Now we're getting Eltharion with Tempest, Apotheosis, and then you get Arcane Phoenix, Star Dragon. For the rest of the High Elf army, we have Spearmen, and we have Archers, a couple of Lyran Reavers, and a War Lion of Krace. On the side for Grand Cathay, Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon, Peasant Horsemen, the Vanguard, Jade Lancers, and more Peasant Horsemen on the flanks. We have 5 Iron Hail Gunners, 4 Peasant Long Spears in the front line, and an Alchemist with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom, along with Zhao Ming's Breath Attack. And we have Skyjunk. Skyjunk. Go Skyjunk. Eltharion? Yeah, Eltharion. He's here. Blood Penguin has to be careful. Those Iron Hail Gunners are no joke. They can mess up a single entity in the blink of an eye. So we'll see what they do. Though I'm a little concerned for Grand Cathay because the High Elf has a better front line and a ton of archers. So they can just slowly walk up, win the frontline fight, and then shut down those Iron Hail Gunners with archers. As one of the archers takes an overcasted breath attack and almost routs, but does manage to rally. So for the High Elves, they just have to stop the Jade Lancers and Peasant Longspears, sorry, Peasant Bowmen, Peasant Horsemen, there we go, from getting back into their archers, and they'll be okay. Star Dragon's falling back, Eltharion's going to dive onto Zhao Ming and get into a little bit of a duel. And the Skyjunk is firing sideways at the archers. The archers, for their part, are just ignoring the Skyjunk. Skyjunk's actually relatively tanky. 80 armor and 10,000 HP is more than you'd think. So they're really trying to kill the Iron Hail Gunners. The Iron Hail Gunners can't murder all your single entities and make this a lot harder than it needs to be. As Eltharion and the Arcane Phoenix think about shutting down the Iron Hail Gunners themselves, one Iron Hail is forced to pivot, as Eltharion already terror outs one, so pretty good start here for the High Elves, honestly. Star Dragon's flying back to try and help deal with Peasant Horsemen and Jade Lancers. But more Jade Lancers are coming in. War Lions are also rotating. Berserk just has a lot of mobility, though, so it's going to be hard to keep all of these archers online. It doesn't look like the High Elves are too focused on keeping all of them online, maybe just some. There's already Lyran Reavers running away, but Jade Lancers trying to escape from the War Lion Star Dragon combo that's coming in for them. More Lyran Reavers on the back, going to charge at random Peasant Horsemen. Zhao Ming's back to hunting archers. Nice overcasted breath attack down another line of archers. The Alchemist is also trying to help out. Eltharion and the Arcane Phoenix chasing down these Iron Hail Gunners that are routing. There's only 2 Iron Hail Gunners left on the map. So both sides just trading for the other side's ranged units. Interesting to overcast Plague of Rust on an Illyrian Reaver. They don't even have 60 armor for you to mitigate, so that was maybe a little overzealous. As War Lions continue to run through, they're shutting down yet another Iron Hail Gunner, and a final Iron Hail Gunner is trying to go shoot something, but they don't notice that the Star Dragon is about to pounce on it. So Blood Penguin and his High Elves have officially shut down pretty much all of Berserk's Iron Hail Gunners. Meanwhile, Mr. Rocker's Barrage is out. I was wondering what that cloud was. Eltharion and the Arcane Phoenix chasing off these two. Elves are pretty far behind on the balance of power, just because they're losing more crap in the trade. I mean, we've lost a lot of War Lions. Their archers are almost all dead, while the Iron Hail Gunners are still routing, but some of them will come back, like this one's fine. Star Dragon Breath Attack down the side of it. A little bit of damage. Not a ton, a little bit. Star Dragon diving in should route it now, but then there's another Iron Hail to still cover the escape a little bit. It's going to take a while for the High Elves to take out all of the enemy shooting. But then if you get to the late game, it's just Jade Lancers versus all those single entities. I guess there's still some Peasant Long Spears. Iron Hail Gunners try and take out Lyran Reavers. They do still take the charge, but after that, the Lyran Reavers are going to rout, especially when getting rear charged by Jade Lancers. Star Dragon's still trying to shut down these guys as Peasant Horsemen attempt to peel just a teeny tiny little bit. A little bit of peel. Eltharion and the Arcane Phoenix are back from their soiree to the edge of the map. They immediately run down these Iron Hail Gunners again. As we have 3 left, one of which is routing, though. It looks like it should be able to rally any second now. Peasant Horseman going to try and stop the Star Dragon from hunting Iron Hail Gunners still. And Eltharion is just going to take this moment to get free damage on the Skyjunk, try and make the balance of power look a little better. Obviously, also take out this Harmony buff for all the spears. But Zhao Ming might have something to say about that. And single entities are pretty janky when it comes to working with the Skyjunk. They tend to T-pose on it a lot, so yeah. I mean, what's new? super crazy large single entities and having messed up hitboxes that you can't interact with. That's just par for the course at this point. Star Dragon gets locked down in a bunch of Peasant Horsemen and Jade Lancers. Iron Hill Gunners trying to get far enough away that they can just shoot at it. And Altharian runs away from Zhao Ming. Looks like he's going to go dive the Iron Hill Gunners himself. Takes a little bit of damage on the way in, so not fortunate for the Grim Warden. Mistwalker's Barrage comes in to help finish off the Iron Hill Gunners as Zhao Ming dives onto him. Altharian should be a good duelist into Zhao Ming. Doesn't look like he wants to stick around. However, he wants to get somewhere else and get other things going. High Elves are almost entirely a depleted force except for their 3 single entities, which is pretty typical for this type of build. Sacrifice a lot, so you don't really have much ground presence otherwise. Alchemist charges in on the Star Dragon as well. Altharian's going to join up with the Arcane Phoenix. Trying to use his Mistwalker's Barrage to clear these guys out, while Apotheosis also helps. And stay away from Zhao Ming. Next Mistwalker's Barrage is coming. Should take care of some of the Jade Lancers, but he got pushed away from it by Zhao Ming a little bit, so it's actually going to be pretty ineffective. Fang Sword of Altharian is popped. Bounce power is looking bad for the High Elves. I would agree. Star Dragon's down to half HP. Altharian is very, very damaged, and his Mistwalker's Barrage hits nothing because he got pushed away from those Jade Lancers. Now the Arcane Phoenix is just fighting alone. With Altharian and the Star Dragon both getting dragged down, that means you just have an Arcane Phoenix, and that's pretty hopeless to win. As we still have 2 Iron Hill Gunners that Berserk has managed to rally. He's trying to get one to shoot at the Star Dragon, but it's not really going that well for him, so instead they just did Plague of Rust to overcast to make him weak to all the peasants surrounding him. Oh, these Peasant Long Spears. 27 value. They haven't gotten onto the Star Dragon yet. Now they're starting to get some value ticking up. Altharian lands on one of the Iron Hill Gunners, waiting for his next heal. He did just use an Apotheosis on the Star Dragon. Martin B with the 28 Canadian dollars, I believe. Finally caught a live stream due to taking a sick day from work. Yay me. Welcome, Martin B, dude. It's been a pretty good day. I've had a lot of memes, mostly at the expense of dwarves. Dwarf fans are not a fan of this stream in particular because we've been kind of mean to the dwarves, and I would feel bad except dwarves took my lunch money, so screw them. Apotheos is healing up the Star Dragon once again. Altharian trying to get to safety, but Zhao Ming tracks him down, and he is T-posing in that sky. Look at him go. Look at him go. He's thinking about routing. If he does, army losses will for sure hit. The Arcane Phoenix and Star Dragon continue to just grind away. But Altharian survives. He survives his encounter. He could heal up a lot. Another Plague of Rust overcast on the Star Dragon as he jumps in once more on the Jade Lancers, trying to help out the Arcane Phoenix. We should get some terror routes in pretty soon. There we go. Now some of these guys are starting to leave. That is a big old pile of cavalry. I'm sure Altharian wishes he could be here with his Mistwalker's Barrage, but he's not able to just yet. Instead gets Apotheosis on himself. Star Dragon very, very low as Iron Hill Gunners try and line up the shot. One shot would send that Star Dragon running for the hills. Can you do it? Nope, you're obstructed. Of course, it's only a giant dragon. How could you be expected to see it when a Peasant Horseman is, checks notes, remotely nearby? We're only mean to the dwarves if we see them. Army loss is going to hit. Berserk takes us to a game 3. Pretty methodical game from Berserk there. Tried to keep his Iron Hills online, only got to do a couple, but then his Plague of Rust cast with Jade Lancers charging and did pretty well. For Blood Penguin, Plague Penguin, whichever you prefer. Single entities did all right. His archers got shut down, and then his light cav and lions tried to save the archers for as long as they could, but they eventually got shut down too. G, take you over here. Bam, bim, bam, boom! So we are in the final tournament of the day. The Grey Seer is the highest of the highest level players. We are in game 3 of the first semi-final. Next winner goes to finals. Some of you are going to be very happy about the next game. Some of you are going to be very sad. Berserk's on dwarves. Blood Penguin did take Doom Diver catapults on greenskins. He did do it. You also took a day off to play Oblivion Remaster? Dude, I took a day off tomorrow to play Oblivion Remaster for all you people. All right, gang. You know what's coming your way. It's the poll of all polls. All right, I'm setting up a poll. It's going to be very fair. All right, chat, vote quick for casting this at normal speed or ×3. Dwarves versus... It's a corner camping dwarf box, but this isn't Conquest. You can't corner camp. Whatever. Whatever. All right, we have 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns, 2 gyro bombers. So it's air cheesing hero hammer corner camping dwarf box. Oh boy, I'm excited. I'm real excited, you guys, for some cool dwarf gameplay. I hate them. I hate them so much. Do you need to give me a pinch? Yes. Pinch. Do that pinch that like secret agents can do in the movies, where you pinch someone's like clavicle so hard that they pass out. Do that, then wake me up, slap me awake after this game's over. Oh god. 18 votes in, 75%. All right, for the rest of the dwarf build, while the vote rolls in, we have dwarf warriors, longbeards, dwarf warriors, and dwarf warriors. We also have some iron drakes, miners, Thoric, gosh dang iron brow with his perfect vigor and immune to psychology aura, a master engineer for more ammunition for the sky cheese. Calm down. Dragon slayers and slayers. Oh. All right, on the other side, for the green skins, we have Night Goblin, Squig Hoppers, Orc Boys, and Goblins front line with some Savage Orcs in there as well. More Night Goblin, Squig Hoppers, Night Goblin Shaman with Vindictive Glare and Sneaky Stab, and we have Snotling Pump Wagon, Flappas, Rusty Arrows, Dirkit Squig Hoppers, a Doom Diver Catapult, a Night Goblin Warboss with his Rampage and Spinning Loons, and then Ruglin's Armored Orcs. I assume Berserk's just going to reposition from there. I don't know, dude. All right. We got the 3x speed cast. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't make me do this. Dwarven box moves forward. Their sky cheese bullshit cheese ass cheese and cheese moves up, and he's gonna dodge some Morgo's Mangy Marauder shots. He needs to stay away from the Rampage caster. That's about it, because if he gets Rampage, he's gonna have a bad time. The air cheese and cheese and cheese and cheese just dodge through all those guys, and they run in and bomb the archers. So the archers are now gone. Meanwhile, the box just stays where the box is. The air kite continues onwards. And the Doom Diver Catapult's getting shot in the back by the Gyrocopter's brimstone guns. These other gyro bombers continue to shoot at the Snotling Pump Wagon Flappas, which charge straight into the dwarves and do literally 0 damage. Meanwhile, everything gets routed off instantly by the Iron Drakes. The box will not break. The box cannot break as the Dragon Slayer and the other heroes stand in there. Meanwhile, on the ground, the Gyrocopter brimstone guns did get rampaged by the Night Goblin Shaman. They're going to try to get it back up in the sky. We don't know if that's going to be possible. Meanwhile, the gyro bombers kill off the Night Goblin Shaman immediately. The Night Goblin Warboss is waiting for the next rampage to come in and kill them off. Meanwhile, the Dwarven box hasn't broken. The Dragonback Slayer is running around. Master Engineer's just standing there waiting to give more ammunition to his sky cheese in ways. And then the Gyrocopter brimstone guns that got briefly damaged are back to take out the Doom Diver catapults. Meanwhile, the Night Goblin Warboss actually tried to play the game and jump in there, and he got instantly slapped by the Dragon Slayer and Thorix, who was forced to run away. Most of the dwarves on the ground are dead, which you think would be a good thing, but oh no, there's still all of the sky units left. And hey, surprise, surprise, the dwarves fucking won again. Somebody watches this for the first time and says this is why domination is superior. I mean, sure, dude. Sure. If that's what you want to take away, is that there's one horribly broken faction and watching them is boring, but that makes a whole different game mode so much better, then sure, bruh. That's not how I view it, but all right. Doom Diver Catapult got 175 value. Pump Wagons did their very best. No one else got any value. And that's GG. These players are presumably pretty good. How do dwarves remain unbanned? Ugh, I don't know, dude. Per unit, not per model. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Dwarves are also bad in domination, though, Grieve, and that's the thing. Is like, some people are like, but domination's superior. It's like, okay, I mean, you still just have to watch dwarves be unkillable and gross. And like, domination's just been running single faction tournaments where they ban the broken factions. So that's kind of unfair. Like, to be honest, that's an unfair thing to say, where it's like, Domination's so much better because they ban all the strong factions and then only do single faction tournaments. So, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what you're selling. You can like domination, that's fine. I just really don't like when people come into a game mode I like. I really like land battles. Conquest is fine. Domination's not my bag. And it's just like, oh man, this is why domination's so much better. I do. Go watch domination. You can. Turn's been streaming a lot recently. You have all the domination content you could ever need. This is the only place to get land battles, besides Tequila Sunset and Tactical Lich. This is the only place, besides those other two very good places that I highly recommend checking out. Tequila Sunset and Tactical Lich are also chads. Love them. All right. From Grieven's follow-up comments, I'm starting to think he maybe wasn't attacking me personally, even though I felt personally attacked. I am aggrieved, sir. But we're into our next semifinal with Butcherbird, or his various names, but Butcherbird on Norska versus Ash on Dark Elves. We have Witch Elves and Dread Spears for the front line for the Dark Elves, some Doomfire Warlocks, Cold One Knights, and one Dark Shard. Then we have Supreme Sorceress of Dark with Soul Stealer. The Doomfire Warlocks are a neat little tech piece versus Norska. Their magic damage can get through the Skinwolf's physical resistance, and Skinwolves don't have a lot of armor, so you don't need the armor piercing of Cold One Knights per se. On the other side for Butcherbird, we have Norscan Ice Wolves, Skinwolves, very solid backline, tried and true for Norska. Marauder frontline, and then the buffed up Ice Wolf chariots that... Okay, hold on. I don't want spoilers, but I need an instant replay of whatever monstrosity that was, so I'm just gonna reload the game really quick. What did I just see? Tequila joined this dark side. He does Dom streams. That's fine. I've streamed Domination once or twice too. I don't hate the whole game mode. My defensiveness, and Grieven was like, I figured out now that Grieven was messing with me a bit, so I overreacted. I won't apologize, but I did overreact. But like, I overreacted because there have been people that have come in and been like, this is why domination is better. And it's like, bro, just like, if you don't like it, don't watch. You can just go watch domination stuff. Like, Turn's casting that shit all the time. There's so much content out there. There's so much beautiful content that you don't have to come into my content and say, hey, your content sucks because you're not doing that other thing. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm enjoying what I do. But we got to see this Norscan Ice Wolf chariot charge because that was the saddest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Also, Butcherbird brought double mammoths, so rejoice in the newfound freedom. Look at this. God. They're still so terrible. Oh my god. That did no damage. All right. The mammoths are into the front line, messing up some bleak swords. Not actually doing that much damage either, so this is looking like a sad display of why you don't usually see Norscan Ice Wolf chariots or mammoths, as the mammoths fail to even kill bleak swords when there's two of them, and the Ice Wolf chariots are already almost dying, just running away. Doomfire Warlocks and Dread Spears holding on this side while the Skinwolves try and countercharge in. It is a very scattered fight, but the Dark Elves seem to be getting the better of it as they are routing off some Norscan Ice Wolves on this side. Skinwolves almost routing too, so this is going to be a complete disaster for Norska on the right flank. For the center, Norska's doing okay. Their Norscan mammoths have gotten through-ish for now, though one of them is already at half HP. Dark Shards have been routed away, and meanwhile over here, Soul Blight reducing the Skinwolves' armor to 0, making them just chopped liver for these Dread Spears to chew through. So overall, Norska is losing on all fronts. And I remember we saw Norska twice today from Nurgle's PA versus Tomb Kings. And that is a specific matchup where Norska is fine. But the reason most people would rate Norska as a low-tier faction is what you're seeing here before you. They lost the front line. They lost the flanks. They lose everything. They've just kind of been power crept over time. And the Dark Elves have a better front line. They have better flank forces. They have better everything. Now, Butcherbird maybe was being a little bit silly or had some secret game plan in mind with double Mammoth and the Marauder Ice Wolf Chariot. That's not helping his case, for sure. But this was a good example of, like, yeah, when you're not fighting Tomb Kings, who have one of the worst front lines in the game, they have great other stuff. No one's saying Tomb Kings are bad. But when you have one of the worst front lines in the game, then Norska's Marauders actually do fine. But when you don't have Tomb Kings to fight, your Marauders just do nothing and kind of die. So you need to either invest in Berserkers or just accept your front line's going to lose, which is pretty brutal. I don't know why the Soul Stealer caster is taking this long of a fight, but she is risking dying right now. And it looks like Ash has finally realized that. Oh, snap. What happened? My stream crash? No, it didn't crash for you guys. It just crashed for me. Nice. Yeah, Ash was getting a little bit lazy. I guarantee you he was just getting lazy, where he's like, I'm winning. Let's just take this fight and do great. Because now Norsk is beating up the Sorceress of Death, who did not have to be here at all. The Mammoth is almost dead as Seafang takes out those Dark Shards, and Wulfric almost kept that Supreme Sorceress from getting up into the sky. She does manage to get out of here. And a final transmutation from Bird, not onto the fleeing, dying Sorceress of Dark, could maybe cost him the game. I don't know if that final transmutation would have done enough damage to kill her, but man, if it had, all of a sudden your whole Dark Elf army has less leadership as they have to just fight Wulfric and get terror routed all over the place. That could have been huge, but the Soul Steel caster is back. Both sides getting a little silly with it in the late game, as this lady definitely didn't need to fight 2 mammoths for that long. She could have just backed off. And there's the game-ending Soul Stealer. The damage it'll do to Wulfric and the caster, plus the healing on the expensive Lord, is enough to shift the balance of power into army losses territory. So I guarantee you, before that 6 seconds is up, this game ends. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game's over. I don't even play multiplayer, but I enjoy casting. Thanks, Jimbo Champ. Also, if you want to peek behind the curtain for a second, Jim, because I know you like dwarves, so I want to throw you a bone here, and I don't want to be an asshole. My real opinion on dwarves is I think they're cool, and I really like dwarf builds that don't use Hero Hammer or Gyrocopters. But as a caster, I've cast enough dwarf games to know that unfortunately, the current way dwarves are made up, they're very slow. Their games are just very, very slow. So I try to make them funny. And my this stream's theme of how to make them funny is like the ×3 speed casting or saying dwarves suck or all that stuff. So I don't actually hate dwarves that much. I'm memeing a bit to try and make a game that I can foresee is going to be a little slow, trying to make it fun. So, no, not every time you tune in will I constantly be shitting on dwarves forever. No, like they used to be my second favorite faction back in Warhammer 2. I really like dwarves. They're currently one of the strongest factions in the game, so it's not that popular to be hyped about them as like a caster. So I'll throw you that. There you go, buddy. There's your little nugget of positivity for the day. But back to shitting on dwarves, boys. No, there's no dwarves left in the rest of the stream. The Dowie faithful out there got their wins. I looked ahead into the replay future. There are no more dwarves this stream, so no more wins for you ironclad warriors of the mountains. It's a game 2 between Ash and Bird. Ash is up 1-0. If you want to see Ash go to finals to fight Berserk, you're hoping for a 2-0 sweep with his Tomb Kings. If you want Bird to get serious and stop farting around, well, you picked the wrong guy, because Bird's got triple Dragon Ogres. Bird's always a little different on what he thinks is good. Bird's a great player. His micro is always fantastic. His meta read is a little strange, and I can never tell if he's doing things to be funny or if he actually thinks they're good, but he is very, very good. So for Bird's Warriors of Chaos, we have Archaon the Everchosen with Burning Head and Spirit Leech, triple Dragon Ogres, double Feral Manticore, a front line of Marauders and Forsaken, and then some Hellstriders of Slanesh. The other side for the Tomb Kings of Ash, one of his best factions, we have 4 Skeleton Horse Archers, Chosen Gods of Shop to Great Bow, Sphinx, Usef, Arwar, Necrosphinx, a front line of Skeleton Spears, backed up by a couple Skeleton Warriors, 1 Scream Skull Catapult, 3 Ushapti Regulars, and Katep, with Bound Skullstorm, and then Vengeance and Protection. Which monster is the biggest disparity between the quality of the unit and the mount option? Frostworms. Frostworm mounts are amazing. Frostworms on their own are okay at best. So Frostworms. Or a Black Dragon. Either or. Black Dragons are bad on their own, and as a mount option, they're okay. So the charge is working out well so far. Ash overextended a little bit with his Chosen of the Gods, didn't pull them back fast enough, and the Dragon Ogre charge did get a ton of damage out onto them, as now they're forced back. Really nice angled Burning Head, too. Takes out 2 Skeleton Spears, takes them both down to half HP as the front line of the Warriors of Chaos slams in. Hellstriders of Slaanesh chasing these Skeleton Horse Archers back, and they end up running into just Skeleton Warriors, but not even Skeleton Spears, so they're still not that concerned. Dragon Ogres and the Feral Manticore still trying to hold up this front line, as the melee Ushabti that ran up to buffer that front line are also getting absolutely wrecked. So the triple Dragon Ogre is doing very well for right now, and they are doggedly pursuing the Chosen of the Gods, making sure those guys never get a shot off. They've also hit the Screaming Skull Catapults, and now there's a Manticore on top of Kotep. This is a maximum pressure campaign from the Warriors of Chaos. They've just put everything under assault immediately, and they're daring the Tomb Kings to put their Necrosphinx somewhere, because wherever the Necrosphinx is, it's going to win. Look how great it's doing right here. But the problem is that Bird's also harassing your Chosen Gods, also harassing your Screaming Skull Catapults, also harassing Kotep, and that Necrosphinx can't be everywhere at once. So he's pressuring a lot of different important units at the same time, which is great. Instead of just blobbing up on the Necrosphinx and then the Chosen of the Gods get to safety, they fire at the blob and they kill a bunch of stuff. This is fantastic stuff. So while I don't think Dragon Ogres are meta or whatever, Bird is a great player. So happy to see that his game 1 double mammoth Ice Wolf Chariot shenanigans didn't get him immediately knocked out without showing some of his real prowess. We are getting a good game out of him here. No guarantees he wins, though. Bounce power still 50-50. One of his Dragon Ogres is dead in the background. And Kotep has maybe rallied Chosen the Gods. A Spirit Leech from Archaon just to make sure those guys don't rally, because we can see now that there is a bit of a blob forming, and he really doesn't want those Chosen the Gods to just turn and fire at it. So Spirit Leech will finish taking them out, and that should secure his Dragon Ogre's safety. Scream Skull Catapult is about dead. Ash is about to summon an Ushabti model here, finish off some of these Marauders. How can the Tomb Kings pull this together? It's not doomed yet. I would say they're on the back foot. They're about to lose the Scream Skull Catapults. That's not much of a thing, really. It will be making sure that they still have infantry for the Sphinx of Usef to fight on, so they kind of need to regroup, reform lines, and get a lot of their infantry together, not necessarily in a blob, but kind of like have 4 or 5 fights right next to each other that the Necrosphinx can bounce between whenever it needs someone beneath its feet. Because if they get too separated out, like Archaon can maybe throw a Burning Head here. One of these Ushabti is fake, so now your Necrosphinx could be surrounded by Dragon Ogres and then beaten down into the ground. But as long as the Necrosphinx gets to fight on top of Skeleton Spears or Warriors, it can do very, very well against the Dragon Ogres or Archaon or anything like that. Kotep has the right idea, trying to hide on some of his pals. Ushabti gets physical resistance from the Incantation of Protection, and the Manticore keeps just thinking about diving on Kotep, but then bailing out at the last second. Warriors of Chaos just trying to clean up some extra bits, waiting out the Ushabti summon most likely. Don't want to fight that as well as all the other things. And they are trying to clean up any disparate forces, but we can see Ash is doing what I largely wanted to see. It's grouped up now so that the Necrosphinx is always within range of infantry support, no matter what Archaon does. But you don't want to blob. You don't want to blob too hard, because then that Burning Head we talked about is going to hit like 3 or 4 infantry all at the same time. But you just don't want huge gaps between safety like this. Not a huge gap between safety, but Bird did catch him. The one place where he doesn't have a lot of infantry to protect his feet, the Necrosphinx gets surrounded and instantly beaten into the ground. And that'll probably be GG, as with Slayer of Kings, Archaon should be able to take that out. And then there's just not enough oomph left in this Tomb Kings build to really kill off all these guys. Dragon Ogres are pretty low. There's not a lot of Marauder support left, but despite all that, I mean, Archaon should be able to solo the rest of this army. Kotep doesn't have good single entity targeting spells. The Skeleton Horse Archers are almost out of ammo anyway, so it should be fine for Archaon to clean the rest of this up. What about Brood Horrors? The difference between mountain unit itself is big. That is very true, Necromancer. That is very true. You caught me. I rescind my statement and go with Brood Horrors. Brood Horrors on their own are trash. Brood Horrors as a mount, fantastic. The Warlord on a Brood Horror is very good. Throt is worthless off of his Brood Horror. Brood Horror Packmaster is really good. Yeah. Chaos War Shrines, that's another good one too. Just remember, Screaming Skull Catapult was a meme. Now I think they're really good. They are really good. Yeah. I'm just catching up with chat for a second. The game is progressing, but I really don't see what can kill Archaon. So right now we're just watching the Tomb King slowly grind down as I catch up with chat. No worries, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah. Terrible opinions are everywhere. Jim, I like that. Archaon did nothing wrong. Seer's Incantation of Vengeance onto the Hellstriders, trying to get rid of that fast mobile support so the Horse Archers can get to safety. Archaon's still taking a bit of damage. We have a lot of very low Tomb Kings here that are crumbling away, but they are getting the Warriors of Chaos to rout yet again. And those routes are going to become a problem. The more you route, the closer you get to just shattering outright. as these Dragon Ogres might get close to their routing brethren and think about running away as well. So Ash is doing a good job scrapping back, really trying to clean this up, but I think it is kind of a moot point. I mean, Archaon is able to beat everything that's left. We have some almost dead Chaff that's about to get hit with a burning head, almost dead Ushapti, and then a couple skirmish cap with no ammo, and Katep. Yeah, Archaon ain't sweating. Archaon the Everchosen, what now? Hey, I remember, I don't know if you read that in chat or if you're just typing that out now, but I remember when Turin was not memeing, when he used to say Archaon the Never Chosen, and he used to be like a big meme. It's crazy how much the meta can shift over the years because changes happen. Like, do you remember when Sigvald was a meme and then Sigvald was in every game and now Sigvald's back to being a meme? It's crazy. Dragon Ogres fighting with Fight or Die, keeping them in the fight. This one's just very close to dying. Skullstorm went through those Marauders and got rid of them. Archaon back on that fight with Fight or Die of Slayer of Kings. Big stats, gets a huge hit onto Katep, and that is enough to trigger army losses as Manticore jumps in as well. Butcherbird's back. 1-1. Archaon used to be one of the worst. Goji, it's true. Goji, I haven't seen you in forever, dude. How's it going? I hate you. Get out of my chat. Get out. I don't know how you got in here. I don't know who let you in, but you get the hell out of here. Archaon did pretty great. Dragon Ogres honestly did well. They got good value. They did a good job. Manticores did fine as well. GG's, and we are on to game 3 between Ash and Butcherbird. Let's go. Butcherbird's on his Beastmen. I'd never remember if this is his favorite faction or Wood Elves is his favorite faction, but he's very good at both of them. And he's against Wood Elves. Ash playing the Wood Elves. Remember when Greenskins were a kiting faction? I do Necromancer, but I also really like how the Greenskins are right now. I love the full rush Greenskins, man. Jeremy deletes Goji's comment. Take that, Goji, idiot. Hey, meow meow. Final game between these two. Ash or Butcherbird is going to finals. We will see who does it. We have Sisters of the Thorn, Wild Riders, and Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. So a lot of cavalry. A minimal crew of 4 Dryads as a front line with Durthu, Flock of Doom, and Sword of Daith active. You guys are on the right screen, right? Yeah, okay. My live stream has a delay on it, so I was looking over and you guys are looking at the challenge page. I was like, shit. For Butcherbird, we have Pestigore and Ungor Spearman Herd front lines, Centigores and Throwing Axes on the flanks. We have a bunch of Ungor Raiders, Minotaurs, including the Butchers of Calcagard and one with great weapons, and then more Centigores and Malagor with his own Flock of Doom. Flock of Doom! The Beastmen are outmatched in this mobility game, not something they're used to dealing with, so we'll see how Butcherbird can handle his Centigores, but they are outnumbered and outgunned by 8 Wood Elf cavalry, though. One of the Wild Riders gets absolutely smacked off screen. Don't know what happened to that one. And the Glade Riders are now getting run down as well. So a couple whoopsies from Ash on this left flank. It's going pretty poorly. The right flank, Butcherbird's just fallen back. It looks like he doesn't really want to deal with this. Maybe he could take the fight. Maybe he couldn't. But, ooh, no. Ungor Raiders getting a little close to that front line. They're going to back off now. Don't want to overextend. But yeah, losing a whole Wild Rider. Bird's doing very well in this flank and just opting out of that other one. So I think he can focus most of his micro attention over here. He doesn't want to take a cav fight where he's not paying attention. Now he's starting to move in, so I think he's starting to like his odds. 2v1 on a Wild Rider with Throwing Axe support. Durthu's Sword of Daith and Flock of Doom taking out some of the archers, and already drives are getting back here though. So while I sing his praises, I will also point out that there's a bit of a whoopsie from Bird there as his archers wandered too close and then clumped up and got murdered. For Ash, still trying to salvage this left-hand situation, or at least lose slowly. There's also Minotaurs over there, which are pretty expensive. Shield of Thorns still helping out the Wild Riders a little bit. Sisters of Thorns and more Wild Riders opt in. Centigores are trying to back off, and Malagor's lurking, which makes me think he has a Flock of Doom soon to throw onto these expensive cavalry pieces on the flank. Dryads winning the frontline fight, pushing straight through with Durthu's support of Sword of Daith and Flock of Dooms, and they can just naturally beat Ungor Spearman Herd. So it's only the Pestigores that are still holding. For the Beastmen, they're going to have to win this fight a little faster and rally these forces to the other side. But now the Butchers of Calcagard are way beyond their means, so they need these other Minotaurs and Centigores to run over here and help them out. Now, they are getting good trades onto the Wild Riders, and Sisters of the Thorn are forced to fade away, but they also just can't be left alone. So the Beastmen are getting a little bit scattered. At least their fast units are the ones that are doing stuff off in the distance. Like we saw a game earlier with an Infernal Iron Sworn off over there, and then the late game came and they had to wander all the way over to this fight and they didn't make it in time. Malagor has opted in, helping out with the Sisters of Thorn against the Wild Riders. The Wood Elves are up on the balance of power by a decent amount, but we'll see how long that lasts. Butchers of Calvin do have some healing. And the Beastmen could maybe rally some forces. That's the problem, is these archers all still have a lot of life left in them. It's just they're getting chased off by Dryads. As Malagor tries to hold back the tides, the Wild Riders push straight through, and a Flock of Doom from Durthu pursues the Centaurs with throwing axes. Routes one of them, another one's about to route. Those Wild Riders can chase it down, but not quite, as Centaurs come flying in from the sides, get a side charge on the Wild Riders, and then, ooh, the throwing axes just throw themselves back into melee, and a really good collapse in from the Beastmen takes out 2 of those wounded cavalry pieces, getting them out of here. We're down to a Sister of Thorn that's pretty injured, and then a lot of skirmish cav back here, to be fair. Ash did a great job of minimizing the losses on that left flank. Now the Butchers of Calvin have been rallied, and the other Minotaurs and stuff are coming back. They have to come back the long way. Don't want to get picked off in like a 3 or 4v1 anywhere close to Durthu, so they do have to rally slowly. Looks like the Beastmen are starting to peel back. I don't think they're really hoping to save the Ungor Raiders. I think they just want to kill the Dryads for free, because the Dryads are like, you know, they're chasing down the archers. They're doing a thing, but they are also really extended. So even if you don't save the archers, just rear charging them and getting a ton of damage out before you have to fight them and Durthu in the late game can be pretty huge. So the Beastmen trying to get some free value where they can. And of course, saving an archer is a nice side benefit, but I don't think it's the main intention here. As Dryads get charged, Malagor is also going to land on them. Dryads are immune to psychology, so they're not suffering fear from being near. Malagor doesn't cause fear. Interesting. Butchers of Calvin do eventually get abandoned. Their silver shields and decent armors trying to keep them safe, but I mean, I guess 40 armor isn't that crazy, and a little bit of healing's helping them out, but Ash is just kiting them easily. Should be able to pick those guys off without much issue, though he did actually just get caught. As I was saying that, he did let his Glade Riders get caught. Oopsies. The Dryad pick continues. Wood Elf balance of power lead starts to falter a little bit, as we'll have 4 skirmish cav in various states of health, a full health Durthu versus some Beastmen who honestly are in a similar position of various states of health, but they have a full health Minotaur, full health Malagor, for whatever that matters. And they did rally 1 archer. I feel like with builds like this, there's kind of micro-batter really favors Butcher. Yeah. Reven deserves blue. Somehow I forgot there's... Oh. Okay, you guys are talking about mods. Got it. I do remember when Hummus started from Total Warhammer 2 turn tournaments, though. At the end of the day, I don't even play multiplayer. Yeah, I played in a lot of turn content before starting up my own stuff. It was fun. They were good tournaments. No complaints. Turns been around. He will continue to be around. So, both sides have repositioned, gotten their crap together. Beastmen just chased off those Dryads they got for free, and now Ungor Raiders are starting to trade back on Glade Riders for a little bit of extra poke. Centaur is moving up. Minotaur is still full HP. This is going to be tricky, though, because Bird wants to keep his Centaur's throwing axes for Durthu in the late game, and he wants his Minotaurs to stay healthy, so when they fight Durthu, they won't rout instantly. But it's tricky, because something has to get you to the late game, so you have to make sacrifices somewhere to take out these Sisters of the Thorn, to take out these Glade Riders. As we get a big charge in here, Shield of Thorns giving them melee damage reflection, but the Centaurs are upon them. It looks like the Glade Riders cannot get to safety. They're just hoping to get a little bit of that extra Shield of Thorns damage out on the Centaurs. These other Centaurs realize they need to run away as the Glade Riders and Wild Riders turn the fight on them. Ungor Raiders trying to stop, take the fight. In comes a nice Flock of Doom overcast from Malagor. Big damage, and the Centaurs throwing axes continue to run away. Content to sacrifice the Ungor Raiders if need be to keep their armor-piercing ammunition for Durthu in the late game. Now this fight needs to end, so Malagor jumps in as well. He really wants to get rid of these Glade Riders, but Durthu is closing in on these Centaurs. They need to get moving. They do manage to rout the Glade Riders. They do manage to rout them. They need to get going. Durthu swings his mighty axe at them. Well, sword, whatever. So I made an oopsie. It happens. But the Flock of Doom on these already wounded Centaurs is going to start taking out models, and that is disastrous for the Beastmen because they need all those throwing axes to take down the big tree later. Wow, they actually survived that with all of their models intact. I am shocked. Meanwhile, in the distance, melee Centaurs, all the melee Centaurs that are left are trying to charge these Sisters of the Thorn. Sisters of the Thorn shatter off a Pestigore, route another Centaur, but now they get rear charged by a Centaur, and they will not survive this time. Those Centaurs will drag them into the dirt one way or the other, while other Sisters of the Thorn take out the Centaurs with throwing axes. Minotaurs try and get a rear charge in on them, though, and the Sisters of the Thorn can't bail out, or they'll let Centaurs hit them in the back for free. They start to bail now, just as Centaurs are trying to route, but both sides getting hit with Flocks of Doom. The Sisters of the Thorn will get into the safe areas of the map. It looks like they'll run back towards the forest. Meanwhile, these Glade Riders and Hangman Tips getting run down with Centaurs with throwing axes. Both sides just trying to clean the map, trying to get it down to the Beastmen want healthy Minotaurs versus Durthu, and the Wood Elves want Durthu versus very little Beastmen that he can clean up on his own. Minotaur still getting slapped in the back by the Sword of Daith. They can't escape him just yet. They haven't lost any models, but Durthu is going clubbing. Finally, they get the Sisters of the Thorn into a bit of a fight they can take. Centaur's trying to charge in as well. Malagor's coming too. I'm sure they're just trying to rout all these guys. As one of the Sisters of the Thorn comes back with 57 HP, they come back with ammunition, so they can provide the leadership debuff of being under archery fire and poison, which can be really bad. Minotaur's still trying to fight their way out of the Sisters of the Thorn and Durthu situation. 13 out of 16 models still. If they can turn on Durthu, maybe they can get some good damage out, but Durthu is full HP, and the balance of power is very much showing it. We have a lot of throwing axes to use on Durthu, and they are coming back for the fight. Minotaur's opting out. Looks like they just wanted to do that, but a Sword of Daith that was saved to the very end. Sword of Daith used on those Centaurs. No throwing axes for you, says Ash. You must fight me in melee. As the Wild Riders, or the Sisters of the Thorn, are chased off. These other Sisters of the Thorn also getting chased off, down to 40, down to 30 HP. They shatter, but the Centaurs are gone too. There is no hope that Centaurs with that little HP come back. It's just not going to happen. Minotaur's charging against Durthu. Malagor's also going to opt into the fight. Is the final stand of the Beastmen, but that is 9,000 HP. A very angry tree. Malagor chucks out a Flock of Doom just because he can, because there's no reason not to. It's just Durthu here, so why not? Centaurs in minus 14 leadership. They ain't coming back. Minotaurs will not tear out away from Durthu. They will hold. They've done 1,000 of his 9,000 HP, but in return, he's done 1,000 of their 2,000. It's just not fair trades as Durthu is stomping his way through these Minotaurs, and it looks like the Wood Elves and Ash will be going to finals. Minotaurs are going to rout, and that should be it. Malagor has no hope of beating Durthu in melee. That is just not gonna happen. Malagor turns. Durthu turns. He slaps. 2 swings, 2 hits. 3 swings, 3 hits. That is GG. I learned about your channel from a tournament. Leonard Bullock. I doubt that. You know why? Because Turin sucks. No, I'm kidding. I kid. We do jokes here. We do ha-has. We do sillies. Centaurs did very well. Centaurs throwing axes did very well. Minotaurs did fine, and Malagor did fantastically. For Ash, Durthu was the centerpiece everyone needed him to be. The cavalry fight was very intense and very important. And the Wood Elves did enough damage to secure Durthu the late game win that he needs. I got banned for leaving my account hacked for like 5 minutes. Oh no. What? Dang, people out here getting their accounts hacked. I'm sorry to hear that. Totally not paid to spread Turin propaganda. All right, I had to make sure you're on the bracket. So Ash did win a very intense series with Butcherbird. We're going on to finals. Ash versus Berserk has happened a couple times. In my headcanon, it's becoming a rivalry. I don't know if the players actually give a shit about fighting each other, but they do fight quite a lot. And I feel like Ash has been getting the better of him recently, so we'll see if Berserk turns it back on, or if he's just going to meme himself to death. Because that's the Berserk thing, man. He never plays bad. He just sometimes, like, picks terrible factions because he's bored. Because Berserk's always playing. So I imagine when a meta gets stale, he just starts to play bad things and tries to win anyway. So let's see. Game 1 between these two is going to be a Beastmen mirror. So if you want this to go to game 2 and one of the players to be 1-0, you are rooting for the Beastmen. I too learned of you from Turin's Warhammer 2 tournaments, but your username was much cooler, so I came over here instead. Hell yeah, Sir Catbeard. We take those. Now I'm here to trash land battles. Robert, my boy! At least you trash everything equally. Is Tzeentch bad in land battles too? It's a bad faction in Dom? No, it's not bad in land battles. It's pretty mid. It's mid tier. I wouldn't say it's top tier. It's kind of like vampire counts, where if you watch a really good player play Tzeentch, Tzeentch looks fantastic and unplayable. Like it's impossible to play against Tzeentch when a good player is playing them, kind of thing. And then you watch non-Tzeentch specialists play Tzeentch and they look pretty whatever. So it's kind of like vampire counts, where they're very skill expressive. So I hit pause because it's Beastmen versus Beastmen and there's a lot of Vanguard going on. So for who is on this side? Sorry. Berserk is our... Berserk sent me the replays. Got it. So for Berserk's Beastmen, we have Zongors, Ungor Spearman herds on the flanks, and then we have a bunch of cavalry, Pestigors too, Centaurs with throwing axes, pretty standard stuff. Feral Manticore, a Doom Bull, which we don't see a ton of in land battles. I know they're very popular in Domination, which, since we're speaking of Domination, Berserk is also a top-level Domination player. That's how you know he's a really, really good Warhammer player, is that he's topping the try-hard, sweaty tournament of land battles, which this is, the Grey Seer playoffs, the best of the best playoffs. He's in the finals here, and I see him in a lot of Domination finals as well. So Berserk is really strong, just at the whole video game. Then he has some Feral Manticores and a Deathcaster with Doom and Darkness and Aspect of the Dread Knight, so really going for the leadership bombing stuff. On the other side for Ash, we have Razorgore herds, Centaurs with throwing axes, pretty standard stuff. Centaurs are strong, shocker, shocker. More Razorgore herds, Gore herds, and Malagor Dark Omen, the land battle only lord you ever see from Beastmen. So Berserk bringing a little bit of domination tech over here with the Doom Bull. He has one flank overload, so Ash is going to retreat quickly. Very smart stuff. He knows most of his funds are over here, and when he sees that his opponent's entire army is trying to attack like a third or half of his army, he doesn't want to take that fight. He wants to back off and reset the situation until all of his units can hit at the same time. That's great play. It's something that I particularly struggle with when, like, Alfredino does it to me all the time, but a lot of the ODM guys will deploy on one flank and try and overload a flank, and when I load into the game, I'm just like, bleh! I can't process what's happening, and then I lose a bunch of units and it's terrible. So yeah, you can really recognize a good player that this doesn't phase them at all and they immediately shift their game plan and get moving. So they're collapsing in on this side. We did have a bit of silliness here as I saw these Centaurs collide with each other. Like, two of the red Centaurs collided with each other, made a little blob, and they had pathing issues. And now the other Beastman units have to move in and try and bail them out. So that's just a bit of unit pathing misfortune here for Ash as he's trying to get these guys to safety. Some of these Centaurs are running awfully far away to get to safety, and more melee Centaurs charge some Centaurs throwing axes. So that should be a good trade here. We have a big flank engagement happening, but as I was praising Ash's ability to re-strategize on the fly, we are getting some micro mistakes. As the battle is getting spread out, he's taking some disadvantaged engagements and losing a couple Centaurs here and there. He is punishing Berserk on some angles, but I do think Berserk is getting the better of these engagements. Though as I say that, this could be a disaster. Losing the Groghoofs of Wolf's Run this early on for Berserk could be huge, so we'll see if Ash can actually complete that. Meanwhile, Doom and Darkness lowering the leadership enough for the Manticore to cause terror through these guys. Razorgore herds and Centaur herds getting chased off the map, so Berserk is really pounding that one flank. And meanwhile, on this side, Aspect of the Dread Knight is out for Berserk's Centaurs, trying to give them terror and maybe keep them in the fight a little bit longer. Cool. Centaurs fighting alongside Ungor Spearman herds as the center fight is a weird shape because everything's been kind of thrown out of whack by Berserk's weird start. But overall, he did win the southern flank, and he's now trying to pull his resources up and go north with them, rolling along the front line and winning everywhere he goes. We can see the Doom Bull is also wandering through and trying to help out. Gonna go help some Razorgore herds here. Well, help hurt them, as he's gonna lower their melee defense with the Dazed and help the Centaurs finish the kill on him. So he gets in here, he's going to apply Daze. They're down to 8 melee defense, and the Terror up from the Feral Manticore kicks him, gets rid of him. Ash still has a lot of forces up on this north side fight, and he is winning it, but it's taking him forever to win as Berserk is rolling through his south area. super quickly. Berserk has some archers. This really hasn't been an archer game since they've had a hard time finding anywhere to really stand and shoot, but it looks like for now they're finding somewhere safe as some gore herds are getting recharged by the Centaurs and the Doom Bull. Malagor throws down a flock of doom. We can never forget Malagor. While Berserk went for aspect of the Dread Knight and Doom and Darkness for some silly extra tech stuff, there is a reason everyone takes Flock of Doom, and Ash has it. So if this game goes too long, Ash can Flock of Doom down all of the multi-entity models of Berserk, and then just cycle charge his single entities to death in the late game. As we see this northern fight finally broke in Ash's favor. Finally, Malagor was able to help out enough, and now these Centaurs and Razor herds are coming down to the south area and fighting over here. And Berserk hasn't exactly won the south without casualty. He only has one infantry unit that's very healthy. It's this Pestigor. He has a half-health Ungor Spearman herd. All the rest of his infantry is retreating already. Still has healthy single entities in his Caster, his Doom Bull, and his Manticore, but his Centaurs are attritioned out pretty bad. His Pestigors are his only good infantry, so we'll see how that goes. Centaur and Razorgore herds fighting side by side to try and deal some damage to these single entities. Razorgore herds getting hurt by their very abysmal melee attack. 20 melee attack as they're fighting. I did a stream recently where I did Let's Play Beastmen, but honestly, Mantle of Gorok is actually kind of clutch, or Goros, or whatever. The one that gives plus 40 melee attack, it's huge for getting Centaurs with great weapons and Razorgores to actually have melee attack enough to hit something. They just eat stuff. Ugh. It's disgusting, and I kind of love it. I miss Bobman in tournaments. He was a good player and always fun. Yeah, Bobman was a fun guy. I played D&D with him once. Well, we played a whole campaign, not just one time, but yeah. I think infantry basically doesn't matter in the later game of this matchup. Yeah, Centaurs are just so good here. True. But if all your Centaurs are dead, then having Pestigors to fight on top of will be clutch. And most of the Centaurs, checks notes, are dead. Malagor's up in the sky, still waiting to get more flocks of dooms down as my YouTube crashes again. But it looks like it didn't affect the stream, it just affected me, which is fine. In fact, I'm going to pause the YouTube so it doesn't keep draining resources if it's going to crash apparently every 5 seconds. Razorgore herds dealing with Centaurs. Centaurs throw down aspect of the Dread Knight to cause terror. That's why he's taking it. Now even the super wounded unit can cause terror and try and force these Centaurs off the battlefield right at the edge of the map. Malagor is rear charging them though, so it looks like they'll get routing instead of their opponents. But it was a good attempt from Berserk there. Balance power is about even, just a slight edge to Berserk and the green Beastmen. Ash still has some healthy Centaurs with throwing axes running around, still has some healthy infantry. For the side of Berserk, he has no healthy Centaurs left at all. He has 1 healthy infantry and 3 healthy single entities. Now the Beastmen, the red Beastmen of Ash do have a lot of healthy infantry and a nice flock of doom from Malagor, trying to take out this Pestigors and make this just a fight of fighting on top of his spears while his Centaurs can charge in or use their throwing axes or do whatever. Malagor charges in, balance power is getting back to 50-50. The Doom Bull is here, but here comes the Doom and Darkness Overcast is going to be terrible for Ash. Oof. Utter disaster as we're about to lose everybody here to routing. There goes the Ungor Spearman herds. There goes the Centaur. Another Ungor Spearman herd is flirting with a terror route that will take them away. Now everybody is routing away, leaving Malagor all alone, so he gets back up into the sky. But with this type of matchup, like I said before, I mean, stuff's going to route. It's Beastmen. They're all going to route all the time. So just getting that extra route can get them that much closer to shattering, because you know they're gonna out and in, out and out, out and in, out and in, out and in. Might as well just get that going. Centaur's trying to run everybody down, but Malagor's Flock of Dooms almost did enough damage to take them out, but they do manage to keep charging enough to get 1 Centaur off the field before they themselves get taken out too. Now Malagor and some Razorgore herds are going to make sure that Pestigor doesn't come back. Meanwhile, we have throwing axes trying to hit the Doom Bull of Berserk. Berserk dodging as best he can with them, just above half HP. He's still doing all right. And all of the single entities still just above that half HP threshold, so they're doing okay. The Red Army of the Beastmen. Ola skink, Ola communism. Dang you, communist Beastmen. Anyway, the Red Army of the Beastmen looking pretty tattered. We have a half-health Chaff Spearman, Razorgore herd, and Spearman unit so wounded I don't even want to talk about them because they're not going to matter in the long term. And a Throwing Axe Centaur that's using as much of their ammo as they can on the Doom Bull now. Malagor has no good spells for dealing with these single entities, and he is a terrible melee combatant. So we're going to have to see if the Red Army can get their crap together, link arms, and work together to take down these big single entities. Both armies reforming a little bit. Ooh, that throwing axe has a ton of ammunition, but not a lot of leadership, as they're trying to get in range to throw, but not stay in enough range to like get close and die. I wonder if Berserk's just going to single target Doom and Darkness, get rid of that thing. Because its leadership is consistently under 16, so I wonder if he just throws Doom and Darkness at it and gets rid of the throwing axes that are threatening him as he tries to dodge his way back in. The final fight is coming. Both sides were just kind of reforming their lines, and now they're in for the final battle. There will not be any more silliness, I don't believe. Hunger Spear and Herd going to instantly terror out. Their terror resistance wore off by now. While both sides were reforming lines, they had their grace period taken out. The Centaur is down to 2 throwing axe volleys left. The super wounded one has 11 volleys left, so Berserk has to do something about that. Whether he's saving up for an overcast Doom and Darkness or just a regular one, something has to Doom and Darkness that Centaur and get rid of it. Block of Doom for Malagor just because he can, not because it's actually a great idea. And the Manticore does land in. There's the final overcasted Doom and Darkness. Hits everybody as that Centaur is going to rout with all that beautiful ammunition. It even shatters. And now everybody is retreating except for the Centaurs and this Ungor Spearman Herd. Malagor runs in to try and do some damage control, but most of his forces have already fled. These Centaurs cannot be allowed to terror out or they'll go straight off the map. It looks like Berserk is ascendant here. Bounce power is still 50-50, but these Ungor Spearman Herds will not last very long. They're about to rout, and Malagor, you got to do something. You got to commit to the fight. Ash not sure what to do. Doesn't want to dive Malagor in and just die, but also doing nothing with Malagor is not the correct answer either. 400 weapon strength is not a lot, but it's something, and 52 melee attack with 55 charge bonus is also not nothing. Ash playing a little too passively with Malagor. I think he wants to keep him safe so that if something routes, he can chase it off the map without being stuck in melee, but he's got to do something. Looks like he's going in for the charge now, but Aspect of the Dread Knight gives +8 leadership to the Feral Manticore. Keeping it in this fight. Malagor is still not committing to the fight, and I have to disagree. I know I sound like a broken record, but like 400 weapon strength's not nothing, dude. Even with the Aspect of the Dread Knight, the Feral Manticore is going to rout, and as soon as it routs, Malagor dives in for the Deathcaster, but no, he is just going to chase off the Manticore, being very patient. Bounce power is about even. The Manticore gets hit by Malagor. He's getting run off the field. We still have a lot of spears. A lot of spears. Spears that go poke. Spears that go big poke. I think Berserk has some other units. What are they doing? They were just routing. See, he's down to 3 models now. There were some routing Centaurs. Malagor chased off the Manticore. It's down to 2 models. The Doom Bull continues to fight, though that bounce power is fraudulent. Malagor's full HP is factoring in that he is a caster. He either has no Winds of Magic left, or it's Flock of Doom, which does no damage in this situation, so it doesn't matter. In comes another Doom and Darkness for something. It's a Doom and Darkness on the Ungor Spearman Herd. Wants to get rid of that extra support. Centaurs are routing, and nearby routing allies takes him out. Oh, and the combo! Aspect of the Dread Knight giving terror to the Bray Shaman. That's why he wanted the Manticore gone so intensely. He wanted the Manticore to die, is for the Aspect of the Dread Knight. Wait, I got my words confused. He wanted to get rid of the terror, and then Berserk was like, terror this! So the terror is in. Malagor is stuck fighting the Doom Bull now without any support, and I bet he wished he jumped in a little earlier as the Centaurs are coming back. Are they terror resistant for now? They jump in onto this fight. They're getting good damage out. Bounce of power is still in the favor of Malagor, and I have to think that's a little fraudulent. Malagor flies into the sky mid melee attack from the Doom Bull because reasons, because things, because whatever. As the Ungor Spearman Herds rally, Malagor probably has to bail out of this fight and go rejoin with his Spearman Herds. It's the only chance he has, but he's stuck in a 2v1 against the Doom Bull, against the Bray Shaman of Death that again gets terror. Malagor is ITP. No, he is not. That is fake ITP, I think, due to Rowdy or whatever. Yeah, he gets ITP when his leadership's high, which whoop-de-doo. So he's about to terror out. Malagor terror outs. The Aspect of the Dread Knight coming in clutch. Malagor terror outs. He didn't pull back. He didn't retreat to the spears, which he definitely should have. Ooh, some late game decision making coming to hurt Ash quite badly. And now the Ungor Spearman Herds try and hold it together. They try to, but they just can't. That bounce of power is too bad. And another Doom and Darkness shows up. Do you have Winds of Magic limit, sir? Because you are casting spells all game long. That is insane. Very good game. Ash, my boy. Ash, that bag has handles. You don't need to fumble it at the finish line like this. You don't need to keep bobbling it from one hand to the other. Just grab the handle. Charge Malagor in when you still had troops. When your troops came back, retreat Malagor back to your troops. Ash, no. Oh, it was so close. It pains my little Skaven soul. But the Doom Bull Dom tech does come in clutch here for Berserk, wins it for him in the late game, and the constant cycling of Doom and Darkness and aspect of the Dread Knight, giving him the leadership he needs to beat his opponent and the terror he needs to push away the support. My voice is starting to fail on me after a long day of casting 15 in best of threes, but we are coming up to either the final game or the second from final game. I will hold on just for you people. That was a good ass game. I love myself some new player tournaments. I don't mean to poop on my new players at all, but there is something different about watching the best of the best go at it. And when you get Alfredino, Butcherbird, Berserk, Ash, Blood Penguin, you get these types of players playing games, you get some really good games. On to game 2. If you want a game 3 between these legendary players, you are on the side of the Tomb Kings and RTK's Ash. Otherwise, if you want this to be a 2-0 so you can pack it up and go to bed, you're rooting for the Empire and Berserk, who took some Outriders, Balthazar Gelt, and an Engineer. If you want more sick land battle or conquest content, mostly domination, I don't usually cast, but I sometimes cast it as part of like a larger event, like our World Cup. Our World Cup was very fun, and we had all 3 game modes in it. Loved it, big fan. But yeah, mostly land battles and conquest on this channel. If you like hype games like that, feel free to subscribe. We have a video every single day, sometimes build guides, sometimes tier lists, sometimes individual replays. We're always here for you. If you're not subscribed, do that. All right, we have 3 Outriders, an Engineer, some Empire Knights, Huntsmen, some Spearmen, and Balthazar Gelt on horseback. He is not on his Pegasus mount for once. Tiger Rust and Searing Doom. On the other side, for the Tomb Kings, we have Settra the Imperishable, also not on his usual mount. He is on his horse, not on his Sphinx. Chosen the Gods Ushabti Greatbows, plus another regular Ushabti Greatbow. Then we have some Necropolis Knights, Ushabti Regulars, Skeleton Horsemen, and Skeleton Warriors. What if I want to see triple Cold One Chariot? I don't know. Subscribe to Sipa. Is that the first Empire today? Maybe second? I think it's second. I think it's second Empire, but yeah, not a lot of Empire today. So currently the Engineer and the Outriders are just trying to kite a little bit, do some poke damage on the advance. Mercurial Shot goes through the Necropolis Knights and the Ushabti, does a lot of damage. And Seer's Incantation of Vengeance Overcast. Really wanted the slow on the Engineer. It doesn't do that much damage to him. It's 100% for the slow. So he's at 43 speed. Settra is able to catch up to him. But then Settra completely whiffs it, misses all of his shots. So wasted Winds of Magic, unfortunately, for Settra. And wasted time. There, he finally gets a shot on the Engineer, but it's definitely not going to be worth it. Because now the debuff has worn off. Outriders are trying to kite. And the Engineer is shooting him in the face all the while, too. Tomb King's moving up. They will win the melee fight. I mean, most of their units are melee here, so you'd hope they would. But there's still 5 Huntsmen you have to deal with and a lot of Empire Knights. And Settra is overcommitting. This is aggressive. Throws down 40% physical resistance for himself, but the Engineer gets away, and now he's surrounded by Empire Knights, which he'll be able to fight his way out, but still, it's not a worthwhile use of his time. Huntsman with the Plague of Rust Overcast combo. 30 armor Ushabti are going to take a ton of damage from those anti-large arrows. Big damage coming in for those Ushabti, plus a Searing Doom on top of it. So this is just going to be a bad situation for the Tomb Kings to be in right here. Elsewhere, these guys are moving up. I just want to check in on Settra really quick. He's down to half HP as Outriders are trying to get a shot on him, but there's Empire Knights in the way, so they move out of the way, and Outriders get a little bit of poke back onto Settra. As the Chosen of the Gods, that's why they started bailing out of this fight, is they wanted to avoid the Chosen of the Gods. They didn't want to stay clumped up for that. Other Outriders and Huntsmen pushing away the Necropolis Knights with halberds, down to half HP for those guys. Bounce power is still 50-50, though I feel like the Empire is very happy with how this is going. Nekar Horsemen getting charged by Empire Knights. Empire Knights also charging into random skeletons. And Berserk does need to back up with his Huntsmen. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them are in melee right now and just need to get out of that melee fight. Outriders and the Engineer trying to chase down Settra a little bit. Outriders going to turn and fire at very close range. Still miss a lot of shots, but they miss a lot less when you're that close. Setra's getting very, very low. And the Outriders kite is going very well. killing off these Necropolis Knights in the distance. Ushirian's Incantation of Vengeance plus Chosen of the Gods shot's going to take out one of the Outriders while Cetra deals with the other himself in melee. Speaking of melee, the main fight where the Tomb Kings are pushing back the Empire, it's not going great for the Empire, but it's not going as well as the Tomb Kings would have liked. There's still a lot of Huntsmen firing. There's still a lot of damage coming in. As Cetra pushes back one of the Outriders, the other one shatters due to the Assyrian's Incantation of Vengeance, and the third one is completely fine. It's currently kiting away from some skeleton horsemen, but they'll fade away in their own time, and then it can finish off the Necropolis Knights at its leisure. Cetra's almost gotten rid of this other Outrider. And remember, if you're hoping for a game 3 between these two legendary players, you are rooting for the Tomb Kings to pull this back from a bit of a deficit, as the Huntsmen of Berserk are still staying safe, still getting a lot of damage out on the Necropolis Knights. We do have one Ushapti going after them, and I imagine the Ushapti summon is going to show up soon. It's going to show up right about here. I have to think that the Tomb Kings are about ready for that tier 3 army ability. I say tier 3 because they get 3 tiers of healing and then they get it. Gelt throws down a Plague of Rust Overcast to help himself and the Engineer get extra damage on the Chosen of the Gods. Plus we have Empire Knights running in. Elsewhere we have Empire Knights charging down Skeleton Warriors. Tomb Kings are falling further and further behind on the balance of power. And Cetra stopped chasing that one Outrider of his. It did return over there. Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance down onto those Knights, and Cetra has to run really far away, so I'm getting extra concerned about his prospects in this game. If he's scared to even fight Gelt and the Engineer, then what's he going to be able to do, realistically? Empire Knights route away from the Chosen of the Gods. Chosen of the Gods try and rally, but there's a full health Empire Knight just take their place. Hey, look! The Ushapti showed up right when I said they would. Not when, where. They showed up right where I said they would. I like this a lot. Berserk's running in 2 different directions to make sure that the Ushapti have to pick one and can't go after both at the same time. It sounds obvious, but I do see that mistake a lot. You just panic, you click your Huntsman, and you run away, but you run away the same direction. The Ushapti just follow both of you. Is Kite the Empire meta? I feel like it's what I've seen out of them when they don't lose instantly. Yeah, Kite is their best playstyle right now. War Wagons are not OP anymore, but they are still very, very strong. I just wouldn't put them in overpowered territory. Outriders are strong. Outriders grenade launchers are crazy strong. Pistoliers are strong. Engineers are strong. Gelt and Elspeth are strong, and neither of them wants to take a straight up fight either. So yeah, the Empire, like stand and fire or pike and shot or box play, isn't really that strong anymore, but their Kite is still very powerful. Very, very powerful. Bounce power is getting out of hand here for the Tomb Kings. They did fight back against a couple Empire Knights over here with these Ushapti, but Gelt and the Engineer will finish off that Ushapti. Chosen the Gods are just going to crumble away into nothingness, and the last of the Necropolis Knights ride next to Cetra. Ride now for Ruin, ride for Rohan, but it's not really going to be enough to save them as the Outriders are just kind of shooting them to pieces. That Ushapti is fake. It'll fade away in 8 more seconds, and not that it has even that much HP to talk about. Then you'll have 3 uncontested Huntsmen. It looks like Ash sees the writing on the wall and does surrender. It'll be a 2-0 win for Berserk in the finals to be our Grey Seer champion this season. Huntsmen did pretty darn well. Outriders did their jobs. And then, yeah, it was kind of this build. This whole build did its job. Where Gandalf? Gandalf the Gway? The Gway! For the Tomb Kings, not a lot of value as they got kited, so most of their value was expended in the form of Empire ammunition getting used. But their Ushapti did all right. Cetra had a bit of a hard time. That is the GG. No need for a blocker anymore, as we know that is the end of that. Boom, my replay folder is empty and gorgeous. To finalize the playoffs, Berserk takes a 2-0 win. And that is GG. Boom! All my tournaments are done. All my tournaments are caught up. GG's, lads. Let's see if Tactical Lich is still streaming. I'll send you over there if he's still streaming, but I know he's been streaming for a bit, so he might have shut down. Who knows? Lich. Nah, I don't see him. Yeah, that brother ain't streaming no more. Turin streaming? I doubt it, but... Inticity? Alright, we'll raid Inticity. Fine. I'll allow it. Alright. I don't know what Inticity's doing, but go say hi. Go say hi from the rat. Good. Bye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed playoffs. Season 7 playoffs was pretty fun. If I felt low energy at any point or anything, it was just, I've been sick and busy, and it's been a crazy year. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to give too many IRL details, but it's just been a crazy year. And if you've been on the Discord, you know that my cat has not been doing well health-wise. He rallied, but for a week there, I was a bit indisposed because we were busy taking him to the hospital like every other frickin' day. So he's all right now. We don't fully know what's wrong with him. I kind of suspect it's kitty cancer, but they have him on morphine, so he's eating again. And as long as he's eating, he's all right. We don't really know what's up, but he's an old cat. His time's coming. We'll see. Maybe he has another year or two in him. Maybe he doesn't. But I was busy with that. I did take off work tomorrow to stream Oblivion. We'll be doing Oblivion One Life, where I just spawn in as a character, and if I ever die at all, that's it. I have to go make a new character, and we see how long I can live. It's fun. It turns it kind of into a horror game, because even like wolves can be scary. You're like, all right, a wolf, I got this. Oh, 4 wolves? Absolutely not. You just need to run for your life. So there's Hazel shaking it. Good for you, buddy. I'm probably gonna go walk the pup, but thanks for hanging out, guys. It was a fun stream. GG, well played. GG. Olg.